Getting to the left of screen to start this match, and a good crowd building up as Darcy and Kazitsky get things underway, and Brad Johnson trying to get the set of clearance early for the Bulldogs. They're going in tough and hard early, as you would expect. Hahn towards half forward, and almost the diving mark for Bowden. Couldn't quite hang on to it. St Kilda to try and clear. Burke dragged off it. Intensity high, as you would expect. Bowden going wide. Target there was Wiggins. It eludes his grasp. Boundary throw in. Tiffany Cherry's down boundary side with us this afternoon. Good to have you with us, Tiff.
Guys, I can tell you that Grant Thomas wasn't too happy about the roof being open, and also Nathan Brown actually stayed out for about 20 minutes before the warm-up to try and practice what he said, getting rid of his goal-kicking yip. So after being 0 last week, we'll see how he goes on the scoreboard.
Stephen Lawrence drops what he should have taken. Murphy there for the Bulldogs to rob him of it. Hamill to lend support. Boundary throw in, centre wing. Beautiful day here in Melbourne this afternoon. And some matchups to look forward to, Wayne.
Yes, Nathan Brown was named in the centre, but he's gone straight to full forward and getting picked up by Max Hutchton, whereas Nick Riewoldt has started in the square with Matthew Croft.
Darcy in front of Kazitsky at ground level. Powell also there for the Saints. Hamill with some strength as per the norm. Here they go now through Aussie Jones. Long ball, Riewoldt the target in front of Croft, and he's got it. Great start by St Kilda. Direct footy, and why not when you've got Nick Riewoldt on his own in the square.
Well, it was good movement, and again, the benefit of having plenty of space for a tall marking leading forward. There's not much Matthew Croft could have done with that. Terrific disposal by Aussie Jones.
Just waited on his lead, didn't he, to wait for the ball to come so he could take it. Left Croft out of it. Riewoldt, 3 goals, 4 for the season. And right behind him, good start for him. Good start for St Kilda. The first goal of the afternoon. Just what Grant Thomas was looking for. One of his stars to set the tone. And he runs a long way to thank Aussie Jones for a terrific pass.
Well, it's important that St Kilda had a terrific win last week, and they were led by a lot of their younger players. And this player is really playing above his age and experience. The younger players have started to step up. They're leading the way, and they're not waiting for their senior players to do something, as we see Aaron Hamill doing what he does best, a lot of the bullying work. But again, that's a terrific kick on the opposite side of the body from Aussie Jones.
And Nick Riewoldt providing the finish. And don't the cheer squad love it? Well, the sun getting in the eyes here. Beautiful cloudless day, and for St Kilda, the ideal start. Darcy's got a good leap at that. Kazitsky had to wait for it. Hayes and West. Here's Heath Black at the coalface, forcing a second bounce in the middle.
St Kilda have recognised the fact that Rowan Smith provides a lot of the drive for the Western Bulldogs off the half-back flank. So he's playing half-forward flank, but I'm anticipating it's a defensive role.
McMahon pensive on the bench as the Saints win a free for a push. Coming back, the umpires today, Stephen McBurney, Mark Fussell and Justin Schmidt. And now Kazitsky from the backside of the centre. Oh, a low grass-cutting kick towards centre-half forward. Thompson for ball. Had a terrific fortnight towards half forward. Jones and Murphy. Riewoldt from the side. Some collisions and a boundary throw-in to resolve.
Saints in attack once again. Darcy just edges Kazitsky out of the way illegally. No, umpires. Now there's a 50 metres. It's going to be a Western Bulldogs free kick. Because I must admit, I thought
it was
Darcy got into the back, but it was an off-the-ball free
Aaron
kick.
Hamill was the man involved.
So Justin Schmidt deciding. Aaron Hamill just pushing Bassett out of the way. So Bassett now to take the kick. It's at the centre of the ground. Pass is good. Brown, of Bowden it is. Long way from goal. Slopes away. Heads towards the top of the square. Ball there. Comes out towards Black. He's wrapped up by Mitchell Hahn. We'll have a ball up 30 metres out from the Western Bulldogs goal. The Saints have the first score. Saints have some famous fans, none more so than the world's greatest leg spinner, Shane Warne. Bandy Just freed himself up nicely, but then put it in the path of Garlick, but Goddard there first. He turns it over. Johnson dropped what he should have taken. Back where it came from. Rewind. It's Goddard once again, and the Saints will switch it out through Heath Black.
There's a loose man, short and wide, and that is a man who played 30 games with the Bulldogs in Powell. Goes short for Harvey. 24 touches against the Cats last week was impressive. And now from the shadow into the sunshine for the Saints. Towards a one-on-one, Rowan Smith jostling with Thompson. Thompson does well. Good handball for Ozzie Jones. On the lead, wonderful pass. Good defensive spoil though provided by Bassett on Hamill. And now Gilby can bring it out of defence for the Bulldogs. Targets Bandy on the wing. And Bandy at full stretch, which is saying something. Couldn't haul it in. And there's another former Bulldog, Luke Penny. Couldn't leave the club in the best of circumstances. The Bulldogs football manager Stephen Newport said he walked out on the club. In the end, we didn't have many options. Penny was eager to say that, well, he was out of contract and didn't necessarily walk out, but that was the general feeling as Ball climbs over the top to win the hit out. Handling it back towards the boundary line. Smith and Thompson take it over for a throw-in. So we've had a few players at former clubs meeting their old teammates this weekend, notably a guy called Carey on Friday night, as we had a look at confirmation there of the umpires, and Nick Davis last night, and very impressive, kicking the match-winning goal. How will it unfold today for Luke Penny?
Another ball in. Thompson got it over to Harvey. Releases Kazitsky. Long ball to the goal square. Too far for Rewalt. And it's just hit the behind post, so we're going to have a ball in. So a good result in the end for St Kilda. They've still got a chance here. Look for a set play.
Well, he blazed away Kaczynski, but he did have Stevie Lawrence, who kicked 2 goals late in the last quarter last week, on his right-hand side. So the better option could have been to free up Stevie Lawrence. He had space and time to run in and have a better shot on goal.
Kaczynski lays it down nicely. Here's the man you just spoke about, Schwaller. Oh, Steve Lawrence hitting the goal post for a behind. A surprise packet up forward last week, late in the game. Set up a couple of goals as well as kicking a couple. Rowan Smith to kick in 7-0. He's away. To the outer side. Rewald will get back for St Kilda. Almost. In the middle's Hamill. Good share of the ball. Hayes. Low. Powell. Needs some runners. Scott Kaczynski. He's freed up. Clever use of the ball to Black, in 2 minds, but just pops it over the top. And Lawrence once again, this time he gets used.
Well, he probably would have been better off having a shot in that instance, because Black is a left footer, so he's on the wrong side. But as it turned out, was able to find Stevie Lawrence in some space and have his second shot on goal within the minute.
3 goals for the season coming into today. So I'm just kicking behind. He's not going to kick a goal here. It's going to be play on. Down in front. Hamill's still there. Harrison went without it. Gehrig wants a free kick. Darcy. It's still a chance for St Kilda here. Hamill appeals for the free kick. Still going. Powell just chips it across. Over the top. Surely that's a free kick. It is. In the back. St Kilda should goal here. Free kick's going to go to Justin Kaczynski. And Mitchell Hahn. Well, he'd know better, wouldn't he?
Well, you'd think he would. You'd have to send the runner out and just explain to him in that situation. It's okay to fire, but you've got to make sure that you made proper contact with the ball. That's just really a poor attempt and a costly mistake.
So Kaczynski, we've seen a goal to Rewalt. Now one to another rising star, and it's a good start by St Kilda. 13 points. The Western Bulldogs yet to score.
Again, another one of the young players combining. St Kilda just at the moment, both sides are trying to settle down and sort each other out with matchups and so forth. But St Kilda, and I did watch them last week, they have an ability, once they win possession or their teammate gains possession, they spread extremely well. Total disposals at the moment for St Kilda. They're leading Western Bulldogs 28-11, so that's a testament to their willingness to work, and they're certainly dictating terms early on in the first quarter.
And Justin Kaczynski will be buoyed by that. He's had 4 of those 28 possessions for the Saints. The Bulldogs, yes, just 8 kicks for the match, and we've played nearly 10 minutes. Good bounce for the ruckman in the centre, and, well, they both went early. Trying to wrestle it away, Brad Johnson, and an ugly scrum in the centre. We'll have a second bounce. Good history between these two clubs, very tight. They began meeting in 1925. Bulldogs lead it 67-65 with a couple of draws. Bulldogs winning the last 2 matches, including their only meeting last year by nearly 8 goals in round 12. Darcy kicked 5 on that occasion. Now, ball wrestles out the hand pass, but charging off the back line, Hargrave. Over the head of Garlick. Coming out, nice little pickup. Skipper got it to Brad Johnson. Here's Nathan Brown. Here's a goal. First touch for Nathan Brown today, and he does what he didn't do last week, kick a goal. And the Bulldogs get on the board. The Saints 2-1, the Bulldogs 1 goal, and the former Bulldog, Luke Penny, copping a little bit of treatment. A few words being exchanged there. A little bit of feeling coming into this one now.
Yeah, it's a good matchup. I'm happy with that. Nathan Brown on Max Hutchinson. I think if the ball comes in nice and high, Max will be in his own there. But the ball came in quickly and low. And Nathan Brown doing what he does best. His smart play just was able to get Max Hutchinson heading forward out of the contest. A much needed goal and a good start for Nathan Brown. A good reply for the Western Bulldogs.
Nathan Brown has dispensed with the white boots. Didn't work for him last week. His 17th goal of the season. First for the Bulldogs. Back in the centre, Kazitsky went far too early. It enables Darcy to just lay it off to West. Out to Bowden. He's within range. He straightens up inside 50. 2 in 30 seconds to the Bulldogs. And it all goes back to the middle. Kazitsky went far too early, and the Bulldogs players got a Christmas present.
You'd be happy with that if you were Scott West. It's just the importance of getting a good, clean first disposal out of the centre square. Scotty West, you can't allow him any space, especially around stoppages and scrimmages. Was able to set that goal up. Wasn't a great kick, but Patrick Bowden kicked 3 goals last week, and a terrific start from the young fella again.
Brother of Joel at the Tigers, and matched up alongside of his opposite number 20 at the moment, Xavier Clark. Justin Peckett, eager to get into the action, has played just 1 game for the Saints this year. Good start. Saints by a point. Now, Powell to try and take it. Had it knocked away. Harvey towards centre half forward for Hamill. He's in front. The Virtues are playing in front. Takes the mark. Now the distance, 52 metres when he will kick. Aaron Hamill. Kicked a couple of goals last week. The Saints skipper, who really has impressed Grant Thomas and the team down at Moorabbin with his leadership. The intent to rotate the captaincy on a yearly basis for the club, but this man travelling so well, they say, that he might just keep the job for a few years. Saints with the first change, Clark coming off and Peckett on now. Hamill's kick, has it got the carry? It has. Leading by example. Aaron Hamill gets his first. We've had 5 goals in 13 minutes and the Saints lead it by 7 points.
Well, both sides just playing Russian roulette, not manning up in the centre square. The Saints were able to reply quickly, and this man, when he gets going, they are a great chance. And again, the importance, as you mentioned, Clinton, the forwards to play in front. They just probably need to pay a little bit more attention to their direct opponents in the centre square, rather than just throwing the dices out there. Pay some attention. If you can't win possession, certainly don't allow an easy possession like Robert Harvey was able to gain for St Kilda in that last centre square contest.
It's interesting to say that only one player has manned up in the middle. Garlick has just gone to Powell, right next to the umpire, as you can see. The rest of them are playing free. Powell came in, lost Garlick pretty quickly. West. Lightning hands, a bit too fast. Aussie Jones on the break. High ball, tough one to mark with the sun as it is there. Gehrig almost. Well done by Hargrave. Arrived in time. Now, just looks up. Over to Garlick. And they switch it nicely. Harrison to Smith. Releases Daniel Giansiracusa. Now that looked messy, but it was a clever kick to Dimartina. Kept his feet, did well. Harrison usually finds a target. No exception this time. Bandy. Well, they've taken their time, but they've freed up Matthew Croft. If he goes all the way across, no, he goes to Dimartina. Inside 50 now. Johnson coming. Over the back. Skipper couldn't take it. Here's Goddard. A couple of young players there. Powell. Tight against the boundary line. Under some pressure. Goddard helped him out. Did well. Powell. Free. Innocent space, long ball. Hamill's got 20 metres on his own. Shouldn't happen. Lawrence, open forward line, inside 50. He can go. No, he's decided to go back and take a kick. There's no one else inside the forward 50. They arrive now and chips it over to the goal square. That's a poor decision. Hamill, with some strength, they've turned it over.
Good tackle.
Now the Bulldogs can bring it out. This is Harrison on half-back. Delivery towards the wing. Gian Siracusa against Harvey. And the veterans Guile wins out. Roberts away. Runs his full measure. Delivers to Gehrig. And he marks strongly in front of Croft. And the umpire's going to set Matthew Croft right on the 50. So Fraser Gehrig from about 55 can try and kick the Saints' 4th goal.
Well, we saw a couple of good examples there of players keeping their feet in the contest. Their opponents falling to the fore, and Robert Harvey, as did Paul DiMartino just a moment ago, were able to keep their feet and dispose of the ball.
And now Fraser Gehrig, who was the leading goal kicker at the Eagles 5 years ago, spending time up forward for St Kilda this year. Has that kick got the carry? No, and in the square, in the end, uncontested, Luke Darcy. Back there marking for the Bulldogs. Releases it out wide for Murphy. Has Rowan Smith running with him. Dances by Kazitsky. Feeds Harrison. This is a better build-up. Hargrave. Good ball for Bandy. On the outer wing. Told that he's off. Chips it out wide for Bowden. Peckett guarding him. And Peckett did well enough to force him away from it. Aussie Jones. Well, he kicks it in for Nick Riewoldt. And Riewoldt socketed it out. Is it on the full? No, boundary throwing.
Saints are doing a good job when the Western Bulldogs win possession. They're flooding back in numbers and just forcing the Western Bulldog players to go wide.
I asked, was it out on the full?
Yes.
Boundary umpire, though, was in the better position, wasn't he, as we've got a blood rule with Patrick Bowden coming off. Fraser Gehrig not looking 100% fit either, to be perfectly frank, and he struggled to get the distance with his previous kick from 55 metres. And now, Gehrig indeed is coming off. Well, that is a concern for the Saints. We'll get our own physiotherapist, Tiffany Cherry, to get the word from the Saints medical team shortly, as the late call-up Sam Power for Stephen Crediuk makes his first appearance for the Bulldogs. Nearly halfway through this opening term, and the Doggies are away. DiMartino for West. Long ball. Brown won't get there. Goddard started well. And marks the last line of defence for the Saints.
Just 17 years of age, but already you see there, Wayne, he read the ball, left his man. I mean, that's a great sign that he's so confident already. Maybe a turnover here. Powell. He's done well this quarter, Powell. He's just using his strength. Black. Darcy arrives. It's into the sunlight. Kazitsky kept his feet once again. It's the key this afternoon. Drives it through the middle. Hamill the target. Going back. The spoil came. It falls to Harrison. And that's good presence of mind to give it over to Rowan Smith. And on the breakaway, Darcy. Darcy just chips it back, running on. And as Wayne mentioned, the Saints doing well here. They're getting back quickly, and they're forcing this sort of movement from the Bulldogs. Perhaps a turnover here. Enough. Hutchinson through the gap, tried to find ball. It falls back for Max. Low ball. It's a poor kick, but Hamill's on the end of it. Looks around the corner, back to the square. That is a super kick. Aaron Hamill take a bow. We know what he can do physically, but that is just using the brain to its maximum.
It was a terrific kick. I think he was actually going for Aussie Jones, who was pushing down forward.
Oh, don't wrap him up like that. I just gave him a huge wrap. He was looking for Riewoldt the whole time.
Well, I'm sure we'll ask Matt and we'll find out the right answer. But look, Maxie Hutchinson followed Nathan Brown into the contest at their half-forward flank, pushed through and just really put pressure on Nathan Brown there and followed through and set up this goal.
Well, you've called it a goal. And
every time.
You've put the mozzer on him, because as soon as you said goal, Nick Riewoldt pulled it left. Tiffany Cherry on the boundary. Fraser Gehrig in some trouble.
Fraser is. He's just gone down the race, and he had plantar fasciitis problems, which is the arch of the foot. So he had that through the week. I've just been told by the medicos that that's the same thing that's happened today.
Smith for DiMartino in the back pocket. I'm not going to be following Wayne's punting advice over the course of the afternoon from now.
I am. I know exactly what I'm looking for this afternoon.
DiMartino shielding the sun from his eyes. Long to a contest. Darcy involved against Brooks. Ball comes to ground. Brad Johnson and Burke. Garlick in the end comes up with it via Hahn. Now Harrison just stabs at it, and it was well read by Baker. St Kilda away. High ball to half forward. 2 to beat for Thompson. Hargrave read it well. Couldn't finish off. Good recovery. Now Croft needs some options. Rowan Smith, the runner. Doesn't know which way to go, so he's going to switch it back for Hargrave, and that's okay because he's got Garlick on the wing, and he allows it to go to Bandy. Garlic peels off. Bandy's got a loose man and half forward. G and Syracuse, which the crowd was urging him to go towards. He ignores that. Finds West. Neat little weave around Harvey. Long ball forward. Brown or Bowden back on the ground. The bounce climb for Nathan Brown. Creative? Not quite. Pushing it too far behind. The Saints lead is 7 points. We're into time on. Nathan catching a replay on the scoreboard.
Interesting the way they're using Bowden up forward, Wayne. I mean, and also Grant Thomas wasn't happy with the match-up with Clark on Bowden. Got Peckett on. He's a target for them at the moment. Harvey, talk about him shortly. His record against the Western Bulldogs is quite amazing. Bassett, back to Baker, read it nicely again. Been impressive, the St Kilda defence. Hayes towards Hamill. Oh, 2-on-1. He just stood there and marked it. And then just took his time. Harvey, round the corner. Rewalt's got it into the sun. That's a terrific mark. Well, will he kick the goal this time, Wayne? Tell me.
We'll have to wait and see, Matty. I'm not prepared to say anything. But look, the Western Bulldogs are playing into St Kilda's hands at the moment. They're going long and direct to a reasonably small forward line, which St Kilda just want, and they'll be happy with that all day. They're able to rebound the footy. But look, Luke Darcy was involved in that contest where Aaron Hamill marked the ball. Luke Darcy from 2002 would have made that ball his, grabbed the ball or grabbed the mark, brought it to the ground, got easily bumped out of the contest. He's a player that's out of form, and look, the Bulldogs certainly need him firing. Disappointing finish by the rising star. 1 goal, 2, but he's taken 3 marks. He's looked dangerous so far in this quarter. It's 3-3 to 2-1. 6 minutes remaining in the first quarter.
Rowan Smith, short to his great mate Scotty West in the back pocket. In turn, shorts it for Dimatina. Maintaining possession. West kept on running. That's not a good finish from Scott West. Surprise. Hayes for Harvey off the turnover. Could be very costly. Andrew Thompson is directly in front. That was a rare error, Wayne, by Scott West. Thompson's going to play on and drift it out wide for Aussie Jones. Jones might load this one up. Whoops, thought about taking the man on the mark. Handball to Hayes, handball to Hamill. Steadies from 50. Wobbly ball to the goal square. Croft to try and clear for the Bulldogs. Has a couple of options. Oh, that's a nice mark by Brad Johnson. That was danger. It had gone over his head. And now time just to settle down for the respective teams after a haphazard 60 seconds. Brad Johnson just taking his time, not wanting to be rushed. Long ball towards Murphy and Burke, and Murphy, strong hands, playing in front. The Bulldogs' top pick in the 99 draft. Yet to reach the 50-game mark, should do so this season.
I need players like Robert Murphy to start stepping up and contributing to the team.
Going to kick to centre half back for Bassett. That's okay. Now some run perhaps. Brad Johnson through the middle. Good ball towards half forward. And Rowan Smith. Couple of kicks out from goal. Awaits a Bandy and a Brown lead. Brown is on. Smith goes to him. Brown will mark. Oh, that's quick. Can he get the finish? No, decides to kick it to a central location, and Hahn! Strong hands by Mitchell Hahn, and how about the presence of mind from Nathan Brown to play on from the tight angle. Had a look and thought, unlike a usual goal sneak would, Wayne Swass, to set it up at the top of the square.
Clinton, I was about to say this would be a goal, but he used his smarts. There was a tight angle, could have blazed away, but intelligent play from Nathan Brown. He set that mark up by doubling back on Max Hudson and just caused him a few dramas.
And Mitchell Hahn hits the post with some velocity there. Bulldogs 2-2, Saints 3-3. Tiff Cherry has more on the injury watch downstairs.
No more on the injury at the moment. He's still down the race, but Stephen Lawrence came off after that costly turnover straight onto the phone, and Clark has exchanged on the field.
Disappointing miss from Mitchell Hahn. Wonderful presence of mind by Brown. It sent a good message, I thought. The team struggling to win games. Some players get a little bit selfish, just try to do a little bit too much, but he sent a message to his team. He's prepared to do the disciplined thing. He was let down by Mitchell Hahn. That looked almost out.
Stephen Powell was in a terrible position in the end, wasn't it?
He's had a good quarter, Powell. Leading possession winner on the ground at the moment, 9.
It's been a great pickup.
Oh, yeah. I talked about Robert Harvey before. In the last 6 games, Robert Harvey, as we see the marks inside 50, all St Kilda. Rewalt's taken 3 of those. In the last 6 games by Harvey against the Western Bulldogs, 1-3 Brownlow vote, 4 2s. Chance now for Skipper. Want to move it quickly. High ball to the square. Brown, 1-on-1. Good spoil. And as Wayne mentioned earlier in the day, Hutchinson won't mind it coming in like that.
And I think he was a little bit lucky there, Max. He was holding on to Nathan Brown. But again, if you get the ball in there quickly, whether it's tall or small, you put the defenders under a fair amount of pressure.
Aussie Jones really quick from the release there. Powell, now Black. Towards midfield, Kaczynski under pressure from Darcy. The ball floats over the head of the pair of them, and Bassett will set the Bulldogs up. West, good handball. G and Syracuse, a perfect pass, not quite. Brown couldn't trap it. He's under enormous pressure from Hutchton. Berg bangs it out of the defensive zone. Darcy's gone. Saints a chance. Peckett has support. Hayes back to Peckett. Now they can go on the lead. Kaczynski had to wait for it. Good pressure by Croft. Gilby still under enormous pressure. The Bulldogs. Gilby's holding it in. And we'll have a bounce from umpire Schmidt deep in the Saints attacking zone. Down to you, Tiff.
Fraser Gehrig has come back from down in the race. I would say that he's probably had some anti-inflammatory ointment put on his arch of his foot. He's changing his boots, so you'll probably expect that he would have the softer boots.
Let's put some inserts in there as well. Been there, done that. Know exactly how painful that can be.
Saints are going to end up with a goal through Harvey. Clearance not good by Rowan Smith under pressure. And the 31-year-old veteran Saint Robert Harvey was there to pounce, and the Saints lead us 2 goals.
Well, you hit the nail on the head there, Clinton. Rowan Smith did the hard work, got himself in front and got possession. Just needed to be definite in his mind and do the basic thing, and that was handball it either wide towards the boundary line and do your best to disguise it, or else probably the better option would have just been to thump it through for a point.
8 possessions already for the man I spoke about as far as his Brownlow record against this team. It's amazing.
I'm sure you put some money on him to be best on ground then, given your research, Matty.
That would be smart, wouldn't it?
Are you voting on the BOG today?
I'm giving the Wayne Schloss medal. I gave it half an hour before the game. Here is Powell. Worked out how to do the Brownlow in 2 minutes. Ball misses it. Goddard. Back to Baker. Gee, I've been really impressed, Wayne, with the way they've set up back there.
Goddard's been terrific. He's already got 4 possessions, but just his presence of mind, he just seems composed and not rushed in any sense.
They lead by 12 points at the moment, the Saints. Lenny Hayes, who laid the tackle that set up that Harvey goal a minute ago, as Gehrig trying to look after that foot, goes for a bit of a jog. Numbers, though, here for the Bulldogs. Smith, West. Now, this is where they break down. Bassett missed the target. Puts young Skipper under some pressure. Goddard again. Just back to Hayes. Arriving Darcy. Good tackle. Ball in. And he's a little bit frustrated, Luke Darcy. He hasn't started the game the way he'd liked. There were a couple of contests where he probably should have taken a mark.
Yeah, he just needs to do the basic things. But some of the foot skills by the Bulldogs players, they're not hitting basic targets, and it's proving costly. St Kilda is certainly making them pay. That's a good ball and all tackle.
Fantastic.
From Luke Darcy.
Ball down by Brooks. Bandy grabbed it, looked up, saw a couple of Bulldogs behind him. West with a tunnel ball. Brooks just put it out in front of the path of ball. There's another good hard hit, this time from Mitchell Hahn. Good physical stuff, and Baker comes in to say, good tackle, well done.
I think that's indicative of the Western Bulldogs, as there's a fair bit of byplay. 3 Western Bulldogs players watch Scotty West go and pick that ball up. There's not a willingness for those other players to go and help.
Well, there's the free kick being given out of that. We see that so often. And it's going to be Heath Black. Short pass, Rewalt on the wing.
Good to see their mates again.
Rewalt to the 50-metre line. Hamel the target. This is Smith going back with him. Dimartino went without it. That's got to be high. That is. Rowan Smith to take the free kick.
Boy, heating up Wayne late in this quarter, and now Hamel off the ball, involved in a little take. And it's going to be 50.
Well, there needs to be some composure shown here by senior players on both sides. This happened again last week with St Kilda and Geelong. The emotion just gets a little bit too much, and you just got to keep everything in check. And really, they're undisciplined free kicks.
And that meant the Saints' #1 goal kicker, Stephen Milne, with 16 this year, is watching this week and next week's match against Carlton, sitting on the sideline. Here's how it happened. Crush, Rowan Smith goes down, and they continued on afterwards. Now, we're late in the quarter here, and the Bulldogs need a goal. Less than a minute to go. Smith goes very wide for Hahn. Gilby takes the mark on the outer wing. They're 2 goals down. Everyone in the Bulldogs half of the ground aware of time on the wing. Brown flicked it over his head for Johnson. Drew away. Hudson delivers to the pocket for Bandy. 30 seconds to go. The proverbial impossible angle for Daniel Bandy, who we mentioned pre-game, just 3 goals for the season. And it's almost impossible to find an open space for a forward to lead into inside the attacking 50 because he's got 30 players in the Bulldogs attacking 50 as he looks up. That's from behind him. Kick across the face. Can they take the mark? No, offhand. Steals it! Oh, it stayed in! And Murphy's dribbled through a goal! On the siren! What great presence of mind by the young man! Under some enormous pressure there, and Grant Thomas will be fuming as the Bulldogs get a vital goal on the stroke of the quarter-time siren.
Well, St Kilda defenders made the mistake there of bringing the ball back into play. As we watched the replay, the ball, there should have been a St Kilda player coming from the forward line going towards the boundary line or the defensive end.
There's plenty going on still. The teams haven't separated.
On the wing, Johnson in Baker. Baker's oh, look at this. This is a full-blown melee now, and there's nothing the umpires can do to stop it. It's quarter time, and the fists are flying at the Telstra Dome. Wow, we haven't seen this since the WWE was in town last year. It's all in, and these are 2 clubs that can't afford big fines, but they'll get them. They will get them for sure. Club officials having to drag players away. Nathan Brown. Well, these are some ugly scenes here. Heath Black warmed up with his teammates a fortnight ago and now looking a little worse for wear. He might have copped one in all that. I'm sure the video watchers will be having a very close look at the Fox Footy tapes. Nathan Burke is fuming.
Well, not only the players getting involved, but the officials, which really, they're the people that need to show some composure out there. A couple of trainers shaping up to do a little bit of shadow boxing. I don't know what good that would have done, but look, you've just got to focus and get things back on track here. There's a game of football to be played, and really, that's very, very undisciplined and a lack of maturity shown by everybody involved.
It's circa Richmond, Essendon, Windy Hill. Grant Thomas laying down the law. Wherever you are around Australia, I suggest you stay close to your television set for the next couple of hours because this one looks like it's heating up. They're counting the casualties. Rowan Smith
and Heath Black.
Well, something happened in amongst all that.
Aaron Hamill was a long way from goal when he got involved there. He was at centre forward when the goal was kicked, went down into the contest, just had some words.
Remarkable stuff. And still, Gary Zimmerman, the doctor for the Bulldogs, working on Rowan Smith. Wow, that was exciting, wasn't it? The bottom line is St Kilda lead by a goal at quarter time, 4-3 to 3-3, after Robert Murphy dribbled one through and the Saints players were standing around watching. Let's have a look. We've gone through the videotape. Heath Black here with Ryan Hargrave. Goodness gracious me. And, well, you saw it here on Fox Footy. I don't think we have to say anything else, Wayne.
Well, I think that Johnny Lewis rated Barry Hall's ability in the ring. He might have an opponent.
Gee whiz. Ryan's dad, Steve, played a couple of games for the Bulldogs before knee injuries. I wonder if he taught him something like that. We didn't see the one involving Rowan Smith because
he arrived just after that.
There was action all over the shop.
He arrived late just after that from Hargrave and Black. Quite amazing scenes.
Well, we haven't seen that for quite some time, have we?
I think it is circa Windy Hill. I mean, that's what you're talking about.
Quarter time here at the Telstra Dome. We'll pause to catch our breath. Stay with us on Fox Footy. What a game coming up. The Saints 4-3, the Bulldogs 3-3 at quarter time.
The Nissan Pulsar is famous for being only $19,990 and for being loaded up with features. Now we're giving the $19,990 Pulsar a very big feature, a 1.8-litre engine. The 1.8 litre, not 1.6, 1.8 litre Pulsar. Now in a 19990 with air. Big engine, little price.
Need to perform some home improvement magic? Jump into Bunnings Warehouse for the biggest range at the lowest prices every day. Like paint roller frame, an amazing $2. In colour interior acrylic, just $45. Garden barrow, hello, $42.70. Clothes error, great value at $8.98. Double adapter, only $168. And if you happen to find a cheaper price on a stocked item, we'll beat it by 10%.
Bunnings Warehouse.
Lowest prices are just the beginning.
Sky News, Australia's news channel.
It's spooky. Yeah. It's pretty comfortable to come in and just talk about family.
Well, that's what we like.
The best thing to do when you get caught up.
I'm too scared, yeah. Only listen, that's obviously what you're saying is the key.
Yeah, if only there was more chicks who do the same. Only serious.
Really, we can see why you're the Don't go anywhere. No one agrees with me. No. Radio.
Living with Footballers, exclusive to Fox Footy Channel.
Feel like Ron Casey at Festival Hall here because there's been some heat on this one. That's the details at quarter time. The Saints by a goal. Hamill, Rewald, Kazitsky and Harvey the goal kickers. Murphy, Brown and Bowden for the Saints. Heath Black is going to start on the bench after copping that, well, right to the head by that man. That's all you can say. We'll be perfectly honest. You saw it here on Fox Footy. Absolutely remarkable. Heath Black has made his way down the race, straight into the rooms. An early casualty. Here's another look at it if you weren't with us. Hargrave, good night.
And both umpires, actually, Clinton, have just walked out to the Ryan Hargrave just then. The controlling umpire and the reserve umpire just gone out and spoken to Ryan Hargrave. It suggests there's more to come of that.
Well, it's an important 5 minutes for both sides, but it's also just as important for the umpires that they keep everything under control and stamp their authority.
Well, what did you think of it, folks? Give me a call on White Line Fever this week on Fox Footy.
Pumping your own show now.
Saints by a goal. Second quarter underway at the Dome. Again, the ruckman ineffective from the bounce. Brad Johnson's kick, partially smothered. Murphy, just before the quarter-time siren, not quite just after. And that's a good result for the Bulldogs. It bounces into the behind post, so we'll have a boundary throw-in. Oh, boy, this crowd of about, the mid-20,000 mark on the edge of their seat. And that's going to be an interesting one because Stevie Lawrence is a man who does not take a backward step either. Penny and Bandy to contest. Former teammates. Penny takes it, does well, gets it to the boot quickly. Murphy played that well, caresses it forward. West getting it on towards Darcy. High tackle, going to be a free kick, coming back to the Bulldogs. West will take it. He'll be having to kick from about 55. Gee, some pressure on Messrs McBurney, Fussell and Schmidt to maintain control here. Nothing they could do once the siren sounded, and a melee took place on the wing. The fines will run into the thousands of dollars without preempting anything. West for Croft, who's floated forward. Marks at 45. And we'll go back and have a think about having a shot at goal to level the scores.
Well, it was good play by Croft because St Kilda had done a good job manning up their direct opponent and flooding the forward line, but a defender running through the lines, creating an option. Scotty West was well outside of his range, and Matthew Croft has a shot on goal.
Kicked a goal against the Lions last week from just on the 50. Unloads, perfect. Scores level at the Dome.
Doesn't miss many set shots, Matthew Croft. Very good kick at goal.
Just the perfect start, Wayne, for the Bulldogs. They were 2 goals down just before the quarter-time siren. 2 minutes into the second term, scores level.
And you'd say that the momentum shifted a bit. They've scored a goal either side of the quarter-time break. All important centre clearance now. The Bulldogs need to get another clean possession out, whereas St Kilda will just tighten up with the Western Bulldogs kicking a couple of consecutive goals.
Scott West has been important. 11 possessions for him. Coming off 36 at the Gabba last weekend.
In a losing team, too.
With Brad Johnson at 34. Matthew Croft, his career has been, well, he's had to fill some gaps, hasn't he, over the last couple of years with some lack of height down there, and hasn't enabled him to go forward as much as he'd like, I think. Free kick. Umpires will be very quick with the whistle for at least the first half of this quarter. Moyle lays it off to Ball. Accelerates through the centre of the ground. Long to Rewalt. Gilby, though. Clever. Has Bandy. Oh, gee, that could be costly. Bandy forced to just slap it towards the boundary line, and he's lucky to get one high. And he'll just lay it off to Scott West around the back. No. Now he does. Back to Gilby. Laterally to Croft. A long way, though. Just trying to set the loose man up. Precision kicking to Murphy, who very rarely wastes the footy.
Not afraid to take their time, the Bulldogs, just looking to manufacture something up there with a smaller forward line.
Yeah. Well, as you said in the first quarter, they're getting the numbers back. Guess who's got the footy? Hargrave. Gilby. A wall of St Kilda players in front of him. Johnson, tough one to take. Free kick, holding on. Against Robert Harvey. Much to the chagrin of the St Kilda supporters down at ground level. 27 points apiece, 17 minutes remaining, second quarter. Bowden the target, Burt with him. Oh, Gehrig comes in high, free kick to Bowden as we go down to the boundary, Tiffany Cherry.
That old-fashioned melee looked to have proved costly for St Kilda. Barry Brooks has got a very sore right hand and it doesn't look too happy. Heath Black has just come up from being checked out. He got a big knock in the jaw, so he was sort of a bit shaky for a while.
Brown was the target. Bassett there as well. Hands and knees Brown. Look for support and Garlick up against the boundary. Tough kick from there. Centres it nicely. Dimartina waits underneath it. He's got it. Ball in the air for quite a long time. He had to wait. Heath Black still getting checked out. Dimartina to put the Bulldogs in front for the first time this afternoon here at the Dome. Does so. Kicks a goal. They're up by one. They've got the last three, Clinton.
You talk about momentum, and they've got it well and truly now. And remember, early on, Wayne, we spoke about possessions as we have another look at this setup which led to the Dimartina goal. It was something like 32-7 the Saints had possession-wise. Well, it's 102-86 the Bulldogs' way now. So they're getting it about 2-1.
They are. They've certainly got the ascendancy, and it's not surprising that you see Scotty West, Brad Johnson and Rowan Smith leading their possessions with 12, 10 and 9 respectively.
Paul Dimartina, urging the troops on, has had 7 of those touches. And the Bulldogs with their first lead of the game. Bandy and Kazitsky in the middle. Powell's kick smothered by West. Hayes knocked it down well to Jones for Powell. Towards half forward to Flyer's ball. Waiting down Gilby. About to be caught by Ball. Wrapped a kick around his body. Under pressure. Powell marks. Plays on. Long to full forward. Gehrig charging out. Bandy in front. Stands his ground. Takes a good mark.
That's what he needs to do. He's really got to push back, help out his defenders, and just make sure that he puts his name on the ball every time it gets near him.
We'll go to Brad Johnson out wide. He'll in turn pop it on to Mitchell Hahn. Makes him wait, but he had plenty of room. Runs into the sunshine and delivers to half forward. And Skipper lost his man. Sells the dummy on Goddard and goes to the pocket. That's wonderful movement. G and Syracuse are on the boundary line. Short for Bowden and Brown charging out. Nathan Brown. Can he gather it? No. Under pressure. Off the ground. Not quite. Behind Nathan Brown. The Bulldogs lead. 7 points before the kick out. Back down to Tiffany Cherry.
Heath Black is just told the trainers that he is fine. The medicos, he's taken a couple of tablets, I'd say, for his headache that he would have received. And but also Barry Brooks not looking very good at all. In fact, he's going down to the change rooms as we speak.
Hope he checked the list of recalled products first. You never know these days.
Oh, look. Goddard. To Hayes. Rewalt the target, right with him, Harrison, over the back, chance for Bassett, backed himself nicely there, and headed for the boundary, played the percentages.
They've done well, the Western Bulldogs. They've just stifled the supply that the Saints were able to get into their forward 50 in the first quarter. They're beating them man to a man, and when they do win possession, the players are now starting to play with a little bit more confidence in taking on the opposition.
West has been important. He ran past Bassett, who goes for a bit of a circle. He's still holding the ball. Chance here for Lenny Hayes. Drifting back, Hamill. 65 metres out from goal. Rewalt. Heads straight up the ground. He's the target. Harrison, good spoil. Strong fist to the ball. Back into trouble. Gee, that was courageous. Harrison set West up. They're not out of danger yet, the Dogs. Gilby, 30-metre handball. Lovely work. Freed up West. It's got to be spot on. It is. Mitchell Hahn's away. Inside 50 now. Brown the target. Going back, Baker caused the contest and did well. Hutchton. 2-on-1. They'll always win there. Burke out to Powell, who's still getting plenty of possession to the Saints. Through the middle. Wants Thompson. Need to move it on quickly. Baker was just involved. Gets set up. Murphy over the top. Second effort's good. It missed the target. He had Johnson running for him. Off the ground he goes towards centre wing. It's going to sit for Moyle. That's untidy. Gian Syracuse there as well. Moyle keeps it in. Skipper the tackle. Over the boundary line. Wade Skipper.
Geez, that was good play. That was terrific play there. Murphy just left his man, realised he had to go and made a tremendous contest. A little bit unlucky not to maintain possession of the Bulldogs.
And they are doing that. 35-14 disposals this quarter. Saints still looking for their first score of the term. And they will win a free kick here on the outer wing for Kazitsky. Momentary lull in the match now as Kazitsky low, searching ball to half forward, making Rewalt work. Bulldogs with numbers. Thompson soccers it over. And we'll have a boundary throw in.
Maybe off.
No, it will be. Yes, the boundary umpire's called for a boundary throw in.
Yep.
He's adamant. Bulldogs are equally verbose that it should be their ball. Boundary throw in. The boundary umpire, he's saying, hey, I'm right here, I saw it. It bounced. And the crowd have got someone else to boot. Dandy wins it down. Brad Johnson dashing away, backs himself, lost it. Aussie Jones off the turnover to Lawrence. Go back and drill it, and we've got a 1-point game.
Well, Brad Johnson had done the hard work, got himself.
Yep, that's a good call.
Decision.
That's a good call from the boundary umpire. Thompson socketed it into the ground. Send him to the Caribbean to umpire some cricket. He's done well there. Lawrence makes it a 1-point game. Talk about a hot contest here at the Dome. Bulldogs 5-4, the Saints 5-3.
Well, it was a bit unlucky. Brad Johnson was away in space, decided to take a bounce here, as we'll see on the replay. When you're in space, I think sometimes rather than do that, just kick it long and get it out of the defensive end. Aussie Jones capitalised. And Stevie Lawrence is bobbing up in the forward line, creating plenty of headaches down there, and a good goal, a good reply from the Saints.
5-4 to 5-3.
Darcy back in the ruck for the Bulldogs.
St Kilda led by 6 points at quarter time. Speaking of 6, there he is, Heath Black, still yet to return to the arena since that quarter time melee. Mitchell Hahn, the ball bounces for. Hayes shrugs the tackle, keeps going. Clean hands, Harvey. Jones needs to hit the target and does. Kazitsky quickly moving it. Nice movement. Ball. This is promising for St Kilda. Hamill just on the 50. Couldn't quite take it. In there is Garlick. Hamill again with strength, but it falls now for the Western Bulldogs through Gian Syracuse. Stolen by Justin Peckett from outside 50 to put St Kilda back in front. Wonderful finish by Frankie Peckett, and the turnover once again costly.
Yeah, Frankie doesn't get down there that often, but that's a terrific finish. But again, how often do you see the pressure of Aaron Hamill? Was involved in the contest, hit the ground, got up, stayed involved. He just creates opportunities just by his mere pressure. Good reply by the Saints, and they're certainly back in the game.
And a wonderful finish. Leading by example, Aaron Hamill setting it up, and Peckett on the run from about 55. No problems. Shadows creeping towards the centre of the Telstra Dome. Darcy wins it on the way down. Bulldogs turn to respond perhaps. Penny back from whence it came. Bulldogs with 10 more kicks to this point, and 3 more hand passes as Darcy goes low and short for fellow tall Bandy. They maintain possession. Pops it up. Brown coming out. He's got 3 or 4 to beat. Moyle spoiled by his teammate, but he pushes off Harnwell. Feeds ball. Under pressure. Loose man on the wing is Powell. St Kilda can build. Powell goes long. Gehrig one out with Croft. Has to wait. Ball to ground. Hamill and Smith. Smith playing it for the line. Clark looming. Hamill there as well. Still working. And a boundary throw in. A good result for the Saints on 60. Hamill thought he should have got a through.
I just want to get back to Luke Darcy in that last centre contest. I just think that rule change has affected Luke Darcy probably as much as Matthew Primus in the fact that he doesn't have a great leap. It really negates his natural game.
It hasn't been pretty out of the centre bounce to this point, has it? Gian Syracuse's handball knocked away. Here is the aforementioned Darcy. Sweeping handball in front of Hahn. A beauty. Mitchell away. Hahn a high ball towards half forward. McMahon just on. Out jostled by Berg. Murphy. Here's a go for Bassett. In fact, Bowden. Long ball towards the goal square. Can Skipper get boot to ball? No. They're behind.
Again, it's just another example without sounding critical on the Western Bulldogs. They've got to lower their vision a bit. Nathan Brown is their focal forward up forward rather than bombing it long. Just have a quick look. He was on the lead there, nice and short.
39-35, almost halfway through the second quarter. It could be a mess up here, Lawrence. That's a good look away handball. And now Peckett. Chip over the top, running is Burke. Short pass, Rewalt. Gee, measured kick by Burke. Threaded it through a couple of Bulldogs. And Rewalt marks about 70 metres from goal. Heads towards the goal square. Gehrig and Hamill. Croft goes back. Stephen Powell in the right spot. Just behind, and he continues to get possessions. That's number 16. It's the most of any player on the ground at the moment, Stephen Powell. And certainly found some space.
He has. He's one of those players that you sometimes oppositions can allow to get under the guard, just accumulate possessions in his direct opponent. Confirm that is shortly. Will certainly need to tighten up.
Saints by 5 points. Smith has Dimatina. Haven't really gained much here because forced to kick to a contest. Just what St Kilda are looking for. Darcy with strength. Just pushes Kazitsky out the way. Kazitsky was quite prepared to let him do it.
Yeah, much better from Luke Darcy. Creating body contact first.
Some humour for the crowd as away from the camera. Hamill upended a runner. Ball's over the boundary line for a throw in. Between wing and half forward for the Bulldogs. Trailing by 5 points. We're down by 6 at quarter time. Speaking of runners, Jose Ramiro, former Bulldog champ, on the phone, having a chat to Peter Rowe. Scramble from the throw-in. Luke Ball backed himself, did well, got up to Harvey. Harvey still going. Again caught. Gian Syracusa has ducked in a big tackle illegally. Bulldog free. Advantage play on. Dimatina high one. Try and mark this, he says, and the Saints could have raffled it. Hudson and Goddard, and Max took it and feeds Aussie Jones. He'll go short for Baker at centre half back. No one on him, can play on if he so chooses. Wide ball, Xavier Clark. Yet to see the high wire antics that we saw from him last week. Towards half forward for Hamill, got a hand on it. Bulldogs with numbers, Darcy. Long ball to half forward. Can Brad Johnson run onto this one? He's in front of Baker. Ducking, dodging and weaving. Going to the pocket for Brown. Good defensive pressure by Hodgkin. And a boundary throw in will result.
Terrific spoil.
Here is the contact between the runner and Hamill, and, well, Hamill didn't exactly Get out of the way of Jose. Maybe he owed him a payback.
Not like Jose to be in the way.
No, they don't do that. Runners do that. And Hamill just thought, here's a chance for a bit of a bump. Saints out of defence with Harvey. Now he's popped it up to the wing, and Kazitsky will get there. That's a good ball, and he's got an open forward line for the forwards to lead, but he slips getting it away. Makes Hamill work coming out of defence. G and Syracusa. St Kilda should have it. Harvey. Hamill under pressure. Waited it well. Kazitsky takes on G and Syracusa, gets by him. Goes towards Lawrence, the kick astray, and West has got it, and the Bulldogs relieved.
They're away now through Murphy. Up through the middle to Smith. This is when they're most dangerous. Loves to run with the footy and can kick it a long way. Direct. Brown leads into the pocket. Has Hutchton in the wrong spot. Couldn't quite take the mark. And I think they'll be pretty happy there, the Saints, to just hold it in. Tiffany Cherry, boundary once again.
An update on Barry Brooks here. The official report is he's bruised his right thumb. He's got a pain injection put in, and he will be able to play after the half-time.
Barry Brooks in just his 5th game of AFL footy as Lee Montagna. He's doing some stretching. Chance here for Luke Ball. Needed some help. Got it from the veteran in Burke. That is a clever handball. Pecker outside his defensive 50. Hamill one-on-one with Bassett. The spoil came. Hamill, though, his second effort good. Round the corner. Clever kick. Set up Lawrence beautifully. It's the second time we've seen that playing from Aaron Hamill.
It's just an unwillingness to accept defeat. Every time the ball gets to the ground, he makes sure that he maintains his feet, always stays in the contest. And when you've got a forward pair to do that, it's a wonderful example for other players around him to follow. And look, he just keeps himself involved. Terrific kick, great vision.
So Lawrence, who already has a goal in this quarter, to stretch the lead for St Kilda. Pretty good off the boot. It's there. He's got another one. And St Kilda out to an 11-point margin. 7-4 to 5-5. Lawrence proving to be an elusive forward.
He's not a guy, we mentioned it late last week in the last quarter, that you expect to bob up and kick with a couple of goals. But look, he's a guy that's got himself back into the side and is making the most of his opportunities. But again, you've got to give Aaron Hamill the rap there.
He continues to lead by example, and St Kilda with the last 3 goals of the match, including the second to Stephen Lawrence. And no problems with the finish. Live around Australia, Fox Footy with you from the Telstra Dome. Our programming lineup continuing this week on the couch with Wayne Campbell joining Gerard, Mike and Robert. Into time on, second term. Saints by 11 points. Bandy got his hand to it, but the Saints will win the clearance. Black is back. Kicks towards half forward. Bounced over Hamill. Gary, good pick up. Ball. Rewalt. Harvey. Good night. How good is that? Harvey's got his second. The young, the old and the in-between combining for the Saints as they got the clearance. And their lead now is 17 points.
Well, prior to that goal being kicked, St Kilda had kicked 3 consecutive goals. There's got to be a conscious decision made by some senior players in the Western Bulldogs. Look, we can't afford easy possessions out of the centre square, and St Kilda just built that goal up by quick movement. And again, first clean possession out of the centre square. It's not surprising that the Bulldogs are trailing St Kilda 4-7 in that department at the moment.
And Robert Harvey with his 13th possession, with his second goal. Last 4 goals to St Kilda. Pressure time for the Western Bulldogs with just over 6 minutes before half time. They need to stem the flow and get a couple back. He's Black back on the ground after spending quite a bit of time chatting to the medical team of St Kilda, and he's down dismanning up Murphy. Darcy and Kazitsky. Kazitsky won it towards Black. Garlick there for the Dogs.
Jose Ramiro's just run out to Nathan Brown, who's now pushed up to the half-forward flank. And I think the message might be to get up and get involved in the centre circle and the midfield action.
There's some creative football. Going going nowhere once again.
It wouldn't be such a bad move, because if Max Hutchinson is his designated opponent, then Max wouldn't like to be up in the centre circle. Or
and you lose him in the traffic.
Yeah, exactly. So they need to try something.
Plenty of players around this repeat bounce. Powell with the knock. Scott West releases Gilby and turn to Johnson. Kick wide, it's very good. This is McGuinness, who started on the bench. Kieran McGuinness, that's hit the target and doesn't. It's a sloppy kick in the end, but they've got a ball in.
Yeah, again, that's the pressure that St Kilda are applying. They look much better, the Western Bulldogs, as do most sides, when there's quick movement of the ball, but some of their foot skills have let them down throughout the course of the match.
Scoring zone here, although Penny favoured by the boundary throw-in. Darcy now to go over the top of Lawrence. Gave him a subtle nudge. Lawrence worked hard. Kazitsky, good pick-up. Split Jones and Black. In from the side, Garlick is tied up. No chance to get rid of that. We'll have a bounce. Scrolling through some of the numbers there for you. The free kick count, the Bulldogs' way, just. And the Saints actually with 3 more entries inside the forward 50 for their 17-point lead. Darcy and Kazitsky over the top, Bandy, but Harvey seeing plenty of it this term. Jones, quick handball for Pickett, and he held on to it long enough to gain control. Rewild in front of Harrison. Harrison did well, pushed him off, running the wrong way, but they'll maintain possession with a good ball for Gilby. 4 minutes to play before half-time. Gilby has West out wide. Possession number 16 coming up for West, the leader for the Bulldogs, towards Garlick. Hayes with the spoil. Going through willingly here. Ball. Powell. Beautiful fend-off from McMahon. And a wonderful pass to Lawrence, who can try and kick his 3rd goal for the quarter.
Well, the piece of play that I think summarised.
We'll come back to him. The umpire had come in, blown his whistle to call time off, and we'll set the mark.
Was that passage of play where the ball was in limbo. So players from both sides had to make the decision. They had to put their bodies on line there and win possession. I think it's just a sign of the way the game's gone. St Kilda have just gained the ascendancy, and they were the players that had it foremost in their minds to make sure that they didn't take the ball. They certainly made it head forward.
Well, that is the most careless defensive lapse you could possibly see from the Bulldogs. Lawrence, instead of kicking from 50, spies Lenny Hayes about 35 out, and he should have no problems from here. Well, just guarding territory, I suppose. They're not picking anyone up down there. And now Hayes from the opposite side of the ground behind the kick. On its way, another one. I think it's fair to say Peter Road has got some ammunition to use at half-time. St Kilda have kicked 5 goals without a Bulldog reply, and they've opened up the biggest lead of the afternoon.
It's an area where Peter Road identified when he took over the coaching position that their hardness, their pressure skills had been deficient, and it was a well-known fact throughout the competition, certainly the Western Bulldogs, and that was just another example of players not being mentally aware and switched on. And look, if nothing else, you've got to be prepared to do the basic things very, very well. As a basis, that's your bare minimum that you've got to be able to contribute.
There's a certain amount of lethargy at the minute with the Western Bulldogs, isn't there? They're just sort of almost going through the motions. They need to get something happening. They've got Brown in the middle now. They've got to stop Harvey first. Probably should have given it to Thompson the first time, but he had enough time. There's been a free kick off the ball. It's going back to Simon Garlick. Chance to atone now, the Dogs, as they switch it to Harrison, who's done a pretty good job on Nick Riewoldt, in particular in this quarter. Bowden. McGuinness just knocked him out of the way. Clumsy footy, Goddard. Thompson, over the top, the handball to the run of Peckett. Centre wing, inboard to Harvey. Continues to rack up possessions. Towards centre half forward, Gehrig on a long lead. Ball let it go for him. Here's Fraser, couldn't quite pick it up. Matthew Croft in. On the up, out to Harrison. Takes on Hayes, not easy to do. It's very good at tackling people. Ball, gets it from Gehrig. From 45 metres across the face. Luke Darcy keeps it in, wants to move it quickly, because there's 2 Bulldogs that have just been sitting out here. How that happens, I'll never know. Dimatina and Brown. On the wrong side of the ground where the footy was. Hargrave trying to hit Garlick, but doesn't. Going back, taking a good mark, Luke Penny. will be enjoying his game against his old club as they lead by 23 points inside the last 2 minutes.
Penny to Kazitsky. Now Aussie Jones. Some run down the wing for Hamill. With support from Rewalt and Gehrig. Uses Gehrig. 40 out. Trapped on the boundary. Almost the impossible angle. On that occasion it was. The margin is 4 straight kicks.
Well, you can tell a lot about a player's intent when they don't have possession, their willingness to put pressure on their opposition players, or at least to man up when you don't have possession. Some of the Bulldogs players are just jogging behind and not making any effort whatsoever to play a defensive game when not in possession.
They're going to have to overcome a 4-goal deficit if they're to keep their season hopes alive. Harrison made Dimatina wait for an anxious moment. He finds Darcy on half back. Can they try and squeeze out a late goal? Haven't kicked one for 23 minutes. In that time, the Saints have drilled 5.
Not a lot on further up the field for the Bulldogs.
Well, he's told he's off and he's going right back to Murphy. Have to go the length of the field in 55 seconds. Croft. Where will he go? Going to go defensive side of the wing. That's okay. Bowden working it, maintaining possession. Now the important one, West in front of Hayes. Still Scotty West. Hayes a bit of a hold. No whistle. West doing well. Under pressure. Penny again. Standing tall. Half a minute for the Saints.
Well done, Lenny Hayes. Stayed in the contest. Kept his feet when he could have gone to ground. Forced the error. Burke. Time for a goal for St Kilda here. He's on the wing. No one comes towards him. Do that at your peril. Here's Lawrence. Already a couple of goals in this quarter. Over the top, Thompson. He's within range. He's inside 50. The rebound footy. Darcy once again. Over the top to Dimatina. Have they got time? Down one side, up the other. I don't think so. The clock will beat him. If not, the St Kilda pressure. Harrison backtracking in through the middle. Hard time here at the Telstra Dome. A wonderful finish to the first half by St Kilda. The last 5 goals. No fireworks this time compared to what we saw at quarter time. But it's a 24-point margin. St Kilda in control, 9-5-59. The Bulldogs, 5-5-34. Some pats on the back for Heath Black after returning to the ground. And Grant Thomas will be very pleased with what his side is achieving here at the moment. The Western Bulldogs don't appear to have any avenue towards goal. They're mucking around in the back of half. Ryan Hargrove, plenty to think about as we have half-time here on Fox Footy with St Kilda in control.
Last week, Essendon dive-bombed the Magpies. Tonight, the Bombers face a danger game when they fly west to take on the Fremantle Dockers. Get ready for a Soupy special tonight on Fox Footy Extra.
Don't know the reason why you love me this way.
Don't know the reason why you're there every day.
But I know when I hold you near, you are the reason I am here.
The Nissan Pulsar is famous for being only $19,990 and for being loaded up with features. Now we're giving the $19,990 Pulsar a very big feature, a 1.8-litre engine. The 1.8-litre, not 1.6, 1.8-litre Pulsar. Now only $19,990 with air. Big engine, little price.
Still the hottest band in the world today. Cheers teams up with the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra. Then came the Thunder. The pay-per-view concert event of the year, Cheers Symphony. Main event, Saturday, May 17, 8:30 p.m. Call your service provider and book now.
Denzel Washington and Ethan Hawke.
You're in a privileged position to learn a thing or two. You got to decide.
Training Day coming soon to Movie One.
Sky News, Australia's news channel.
Bobby, what a great competition we've got on Grumpy Old Men. We're giving away the couch.
Where's Dougie and what's his name going to sit, Tony? Where are they going to be?
The couch is going, Bob. Fair dinkum unbelievable. Have a look at it.
Well, it's the best couch I've ever. It's got to be worth 10 grand if it's worth a cent.
And it's real high, Bobby.
It's like some of those footballers we have in here. They got real height coming in.
Don't forget on Grumpy Old Men. Join the competition. There it is on screen. Win this fantastic couch. By the way, take Bobby home as well.
Now, of course, we don't condone that, but boy, do we like watching it. That was amazing. You'll see more of that on the winners tonight at 7:30. St Kilda 9-5, leading the Bulldogs 5-5 at half-time. The margin 4 goals. Bulldogs did lead by a goal in that second term, but the Saints with the last 5 goals. Lawrence and Harvey each with 2. Powell with 17 touches, Harvey 15 for the Saints, West 17, Johnson 14. Colin Grievous and Wayne Schwass back with you for our half-time program. They were amazing scenes on the quarter-time siren. They are scenes that we haven't seen in an AFL game for quite some time, were they?
Yeah, they got out of hand, and I think that, look, the Western Bulldogs, I thought, in the beginning of the second quarter recovered and settled down quite well, but St Kilda, to their credit, fought back into it and got themselves the ascendancy again.
Nathan Brown with 1 goal too. This was his opening goal. And then, as you said, late in the quarter, Peter Road had to get him up the ground because the ball just wasn't getting down there for Nathan. He was getting frustrated, although the target there, Luke Penny, the former Bulldog.
Yeah, I think he's very frustrated at the moment, Nathan Brown. And, look, I don't think he's helping his causes. He just suggests to me that he's not prepared to work hard enough to present multiple leads. And Max Hutchison's done a terrific job nullifying his effects so far. But, look, there's a half to go.
So where do you play Peter Road in the second half? Where does Peter Road play Nathan Brown in the second half?
Well, if they don't play him at full forward or in the forward line, I don't think that they can find multiple goal kickers. So really it's Peter robbing Paul. And look, Nathan Brown is an important player. He needs to contribute. I think he's probably better value at the moment up forward.
Manny told us the history about Robert Harvey taking on the Western Bulldogs. And again, he's shown it here in the opening half. He has just been a highly influential player, as he always is. Reads the game so well. 15 possessions to half-time. Has kicked 2 goals. And it's Robert Harvey of old out there.
Yeah, absolutely right. He's just winning possessions at will and the importance of staying on your feet. But look, he's a player that contributed last week, but the younger players took the mantle and did the job for him, whereas today he's reversing the role and he's leading from the front.
9-5 plays 5-5. Nick Rewald trying to get involved as well. But it's been all that man, Robert Harvey, and had some support as well. Been enjoying Luke Ball's game, as always, and Stephen Powell against his old club, 17 possessions.
It's amazing when you see a player come up against his old side. They seem to lift a notch, and Stephen Powell has been fantastic.
There are the details to half-time. Anything there that particularly catches your eye? Yeah, 10 extra hand passes.
The one that sticks out for me is goals from marks, 2-5 St Kilda's way, and it just highlights the fact that Western Bulldogs are really struggling to get a tall marking forward, having some sort of significant influence on the game, whereas St Kilda, we've obviously got Aaron Hamlin. He's like a bull at a gate every time the ball comes inside forward 50.
His leadership has been inspirational as always. So 9-5 to 5-5, our half-time score here at the Telstra Dome. One match already completed today, one match underway elsewhere. We've got replays coming out for you on Fox Footy, so you know the drill. If you don't want to know the scores, look away now.
Ride the wave that takes your places you just gone. Ride the wave and sail further from.
Don't go anywhere. Fox Footy with you from the Telstra Dome, 9-5 to 5-5 at half-time, and looking forward to a big second half. Stay with us. More on our half-time program coming up after this here on Fox Footy.
day. It's desperate times for the Cats, but can anyone stop this pride of Lions?
That is a superb tackle.
See the fur fly at Skilled Stadium when the Cats take on the Brisbane Lions today on Fox Footy Extra.
Need to perform some home improvement magic? Jump into Bunnings Warehouse for the biggest range at the lowest prices every day. Like terracotta pots, knockout value at 2 for $3. Bagged roses, a great buy at $5.98. Exhaust fan, just $17.94. Tape measure, only $3.48. Doormats, 2 for just $3. And if you happen to find a cheaper price on a stocked item, we'll beat it by 10%.
Bunnings Warehouse.
Lowest prices are just the beginning.
The Aussie cricket squad has dominated the game the world over.
It's been all Australia, but it's just starting to open up.
And the West Indies tests have been no exception.
He's got it. Has gone a long way.
Cheer on our boys in the 4th test of the Windies Tour in Antigua.
Fantastic stuff from Jason Gillespie. What a sight that is for any fast bowler.
Live and exclusive. The 4th test on Australia's tour of the West Indies starts Friday night on Fox Sports 2.
American Pie 2.
He's special. He's my bitch.
Cooking soon on Showtime.
Sky News, Australia's news channel.
Your team line up first.
Mike Sheehan, Russell Green, and John Barnes looking splendid in green tonight.
I don't know, you was hanging it on me.
Fair dinkum.
Yeah, fair dinkum, Mike. You just can't sit back and just let them run over the top. You've got to fly the flag, mate.
Sometimes you're in a situation where you've just got to do things.
We did some stupid, dumb things and we're not going to do it this week.
John Barnes working beautifully.
Oh, will you tell us the truth then, Hutto? There's something going on.
Well, I just asked, they changed their mind.
You might be a librarian like these blokes. Unbelievable, you blokes.
Fox League teams, live Thursday nights, 8:30.
Yeah, the Saints were smiling after they kicked the last 5 goals of the second term. Sets up the situation looking like that at half-time. St Kilda 9-5, leading the Bulldogs 5-5. Lawrence and Harvey each with a couple of goals for the Saints, being led by former Bulldog Stephen Powell with 17 touches. Scotty West, as always, leading the Bulldogs with 17 possessions to half-time. But they've got a 4-goal deficit to make up. Let's find out how they're feeling in the stands with injured Bulldog Matthew Robbins joining me at half-time here on Fox Footy. Matthew, thanks for your time.
No worries.
What are you thinking at the moment? Things were looking good there early in the second quarter, but the Saints turned it on late.
Yeah, I suppose after that little bit of an altercation at quarter time, the Bulldogs come out looking pretty good, but then I suppose towards the end of that quarter they really struggled to get the ball in the forward line and convert.
And how are you as a spectator watching on when it was pretty intense there at quarter time? I bet you were saying, boy, I'd love to be out there.
Yeah, I was struggling. I was with another injured player, Shane Burst, so we were ready to jump the fence. Like it actually got the blood going, but I suppose it's really hard to watch from the sidelines. Just you want to be out there and help your teammates out.
Tell us about your injury sustained against the Bombers. Was it as bad as we were hearing?
I suppose it sounds bad. Cracked vertebrae, two cracked vertebrae in the neck, and it sounds bad, but it's actually come up really well, and I'm hopeful to be back in about 2 weeks' time. So,
do you ponder your football mortality at all? Because you've had an unlucky run, the broken collarbone last year, and then you finished it off with a hamstring injury as well to keep you out. You're thinking, gee, I'm unlucky this last couple of years?
Yeah, it's just the way it's panned out. I think I've just been running into too many big bikes, and Jakovic the year before and Matty Lloyd, so you just got to stay out of the way of the big bikes.
Tell us what Peter Rhodes like as a coach, because we've got some pictures to have a look at here. This is recorded a short time ago. As soon as the boys made their way off, went down into the rooms, Peter Rowe gathering them in a circle before they've had time to begin their warm-down procedure or chat to the other respective coaches. He is laying down the law. I guess this is a crunch game for the Bulldogs, isn't it? One win, having lost the last 4 matches, and we're seeing the emotion come out in Peter Rowe.
Yeah, no doubt. I suppose he's usually very reserved, and I suppose he wasn't happy with the way the game's been panning out, and he's got every right to get into the blokes and try and get them up for this second half.
I know Terry Wallace, when he was coaching the Bulldogs, used the crunch game ball, brought out the ball, had the players sign it, locked that one away. This is the game we need to win.
Yep.
Was it getting to that stage today for the club?
Yeah, I suppose we didn't have a footy as such that we used, but I suppose we need to win these next couple of games just to get back on track. And I suppose the season's starting to fall away from us at the moment, so we really need to get this win on the board.
Good to hear that you're not too far away. Good luck for the second half. Don't jump out the fence. You'll get a fine. But thanks for joining us on Fox Footy.
No worries, thanks.
Injured Bulldog Matthew Robbins joining us 9-5 to 5-5. Second half coming up shortly. A reminder, Monday nights, the best place to catch all the footy news is with Mike, Jared and Robert on the couch. And Tigers skipper Wayne Campbell will be joining them on Monday night to talk about the Tigers' loss at Amy Stadium in Adelaide last night to the Power. We've got the second half coming up next here on Fox Footy. If you weren't with us across the course of the week, here's a little of what you missed.
Let's get to it.
Let's go check it out.
Girls, you'll love these.
Don't recommend it to any kids at home.
17 million people love the crowd.
It's fair dinkum unbelievable. We're on again, you know.
The good old days of AFL football.
Bad enough having Judge Judy here today.
You see that.
Welcome, live from the locker room. You are here for Dropkick. It's wonderful. It's the only thing we're playing for tonight is bragging rights.
Is that the way it works here?
Clinton drive us as well.
Oh, not a white light, either.
The only program that gives you the chance to have your say on AFL matters.
Fox Footy channels like blood to us up in Sydney.
Jeez, I'm getting grilled.
Carlton's the question, obviously you're the answer.
Here the rules of the game are completely different.
You have to eat like this so the Dimatenas don't stab at your food with their fork. If you think being a footballer is tough,
You should try living with one.
Next one.
All right, let's move on and talk about some matches on the weekend. You're on the ground for 98 minutes.
Without a kick.
Well, I've done that before. I'm speechless.
I don't know if this profession is killing me or keeping me alive.
They all reckon the big blokes are dumb, Luke. You've got to stick up for yourself.
I'm sure you must have been fathered by a ruckman, Wolsey.
Literally celery on the cap.
Oh, of course, that's why it's called the celery cap.
Dean and Frankie, they are absolute superstars.
Let's kick rules!
Snap, yes. Oh, we're here.
Last week, Essendon dive-bombed the Magpies.
There is none better.
Tonight, the Bombers face a danger game when they fly west to take on the Fremantle Dockers. Get ready for a Subi special tonight on Fox Footy Extra.
Do you make the first move? Or wait to be asked? Are you a lad? Or a snag? Do you make something of it? Or do you just keep walking? Do you stay? Or do you go? Do you change? Or do you stay true?
Still the hottest band in the world today. Kiss teams up with the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra. Then came the thunder.
The pay-per-view concert event of the year, Kiss Symphony. Main event, Saturday, May 17, 8:30 p.m. Call your service provider and book now.
Is it the parents who bring up the kids, or the kids who bring up the parents?
You're supposed to be the mother, I'm supposed to be the kid.
Finding out is worth the ride. Riding in Cars with Boys, coming soon to Showtime.
Sky News, Australia's news channel.
Saints fans flooding the switchboard. Hi, Kevin.
G'day guys, how are you?
Good, mate.
On the weekend I saw a couple of times young Bakes and Hayes, you ran past a couple of times and you were going to give the handball but you didn't, you had a shot. Do you ever get told off by the coach or your teammates for, you know, maybe hogging it a little bit?
I think this might be Lenny Hayes actually putting on a bit of a fake.
Is this Lenny Hayes calling in?
Voice, I think. Yes, Lenny or Brad, whatever your name is.
Is that you, Lenny?
No, Kevin, mate. Kevin from Frankie.
I'm sorry, Kevin.
See you tomorrow, mate.
Thanks, Kev.
Feel like saying seconds out, round 3 coming up, third quarter, not too far away. It's been tough, it's been physical, and it's this club that have to turn around a 4-goal half-time deficit. Not too much of a stretch to say their season could well be on the line over what happens in the next hour. Wayne Schwass, you say that man's got to lift them.
Absolutely. He's had 6 possessions so far with 1 goal, but his effect on the game has been very minimal. And look, Nathan Brown probably needs to help his own cause and just give multiple leads. Look, he lacks height against Max Hutchinson, but his ability to turn him inside out and run towards goal is far superior.
Let's check in boundary side. Down to Tiffany Cherry. Hi, Tiff.
Hi, Clinton. After that quarter-time scruff-up, well, I can tell you no official reports have been laid, but certainly the umpires will be looking at the video. A lot of players will go up on the Malay rule, though. And good news for St Kilda. Barry Brooks, his thumb was hurting him. He's been told that he can go back on the ground. He's just warming up as I speak.
Thank you, Tiff. I'm sure the video watchers will be out studying the Fox footy tapes closely. Will Luke Darcy provide the lift? The Bulldogs in danger of falling to 1-5 on the season. 4 goals to make up. Second half underway. Kazitsky and Darcy. Again, neither take it. West Court high. They'll get the free. They'll get the centre clearance. And good run off half-back by Power. That was impressive. To Croft. Can he get there? Yes.
Well, that's a good move early on from Peter Rowe. Matthew Croft will always provide a contest. They struggled up forward to take contested marks, so could be a master stroke.
Kicked very truly in the second quarter when he slotted one home. And good heads-up play by Sam Power, the 19-year-old. Running out of defence. Croft will kick from on the 50. Right behind it. Pretty good. Pretty good. What a start. Less than a minute in. Croft's got his second.
Yeah, promising start for the Bulldogs, and probably something we haven't seen a great deal was run off the half-back line, Matty.
Yeah, good use of the ball there by Power, who has great foot skills. And we mentioned it in the second quarter about Matthew Croft. He is a wonderful finisher. You back him 9 times out of 10, and that was a tough kick, and just what the Bulldogs needed. They've got to find some run-off halfback. They've got to take some risks. They can't play into St Kilda's hand. A good start for Doggy fans here at the Telstra Dome at the second half. Margin back to 3 straight kicks. Matthew Croft has 2 straight kicks for 2 goals. Back in the middle. Terrible bounce. Took an age to prepare for the bounce and then gave us that. Tackle came from Daniel Cross, who started on the bench for the Western Bulldogs with ball getting up. That's a bit better. No one, there was a lot of holding there. No one could get to it. And we'll have a repeat performance as Mitchell Hahn gets up. Clark has gone forward for St Kilda. He's been picked up by Sam Power. Stephen Lawrence sits at the bench with 2 goals in that second quarter. And this is Lenny Hayes who breaks free. Quite easily, in fact. High ball. Rewalt going back with him, Harrison. And that's a Western Bulldog mark. It's a good one to Harrison, who I've been pretty impressed with so far this afternoon. Murphy has a player up further ahead. That's a poor kick, but Gilby's got enough room. Gets around Black. Out in front. Cross. Gathers it nicely. Bandy got to get through some traffic and does well to Gilby. He in turn can go to West. Holds the handball for him. Left footer had to go back to Darcy. Off 2 steps. Long ball to the goal square. Croft comes across from the side. Also there is Bowden. Over the back, just to behind.
Well, they've come out and they've certainly, I would say, have got a rocket from Peter Road, and they're certainly playing with a lot more commitment and enthusiasm and smarter use of the ball when they do have possession, the Bulldogs at the moment.
And as we saw, Nick Rewalt, maybe shy of 100% fitness, as Goddard goes to Kazitsky on the wing. Now he played on, trying to get at the ball, and it might come unstuck. Ball crashing into Gilby at the base of the pack. Black is tied up by West. Hot-footed to win now. Johnson's handball be taken by Baker eventually. Goddard on half-back. Has time to steady. Measures his kick for Kazitsky again, and he won't play on this side.
He's got plenty of composure, Goddard.
17 points in Kilda lead as Kazitsky finds Hamill. Still a long way from home. Bulldogs got to tighten up here. Hamill searching the centre corridor. Still waiting, may have to go back onto the wing, and we'll just chip it forward. That's okay. Kazitsky has Luke Ball running with him, gives it to him, and now the important one. Ball targets Gehring. Hargrave the spoil. Bowden swoops, gathers. Bulldogs out of danger. Good poise from the young man. Gilby, they're full of run now. Hargrave again. McMahon can go. He's a speedster. 50 out to Brown. Good footy Bulldogs. Now does Nathan Brown on a quiet day have a shot? 2 in from the boundary. 40 out, right half forward.
I think he has to definitely have a shot. He's on the right side for a left footer. But look, Western Bulldogs look a far better side when there's quick movement. Players prepared to run, support their teammates and get them into space. Good delivery, good kick by the Western Bulldogs player into Nathan Brown.
Cumulative total for Nathan Brown this year, 17 goals, 22. 1 goal, 2 today. His team needing this as he's pushed around on the angle. Nathan Burke hovering there in the middle of the screen to ensure he doesn't creep out too far. Brown's kick, weight on it, hasn't got the carry. Helped over by Penny. It was inaccurate regardless, and it's through for another behind to the Bulldogs.
I was a bit surprised with that kick. Nathan Brown just tried to stab at the ball and steer it through. One of the fundamental skills that you learn when kicking for goal is kick through the ball and follow through.
Hayes back to Jones from the kick in. He's running now to Black. Wider, Hodgson. 5, 6, 7 and 8 combined. Rewalt. Harrison. And he was searching for the boundary. Burke just slapped it back in. That's clever play. Rewalt now. Deep ball towards Gehring. Getting back Hargrave. Tough conditions when it comes out of that sunlight on that outer side. As we go to the wing once again. Bowden has the height. Jones went to ground. Cross. Here they run again. McMahon. He's got plenty of space in front of him. Long ball to the goal square. Croft's got to beat 2. Penny does well. Back to Hutchinson, the fumble. It's just gone over now. Or has it? It's play on. Bandy hits the post.
Oh, Max, settle down.
Well, I think he was obviously debating whether or not the ball had gone over. But it has to go completely over. It's got to completely go over the white line. So, line ball decision, Matty.
Well, talk about white line fever, Clinton Gravis.
Funny you should say that, Matt. It's live, 7:30 Eastern, Monday to Friday. I take viewers' calls on that and more. Max has called up before too. 15 points in Kilda lead. Powell for Peckett, going to run into some trouble. Handball to his own advantage. And, well, that's a good result for the Bulldogs. They've lifted one, they had to, and they have.
Look, you get tested.
Going to have a look at Nick Rewalt from a short time ago. Just a little bit proppy, isn't he? Bulldogs win it from the boundary throw-in. Power to West. Can go towards Bandy at half forward. Decides to go longer. Brown or Croft. Max Hudson, in the end, uncontested. Wants to play on. Baker deep in the back pocket. About to be caught. Brilliantly smothered by Johnson.
Look, you get tested every week in football. I mentioned it at half-time, the Western Bulldogs. The big question mark has been over their willingness to do the team-orientated things, good pressure skills. And that piece of play, forget the marks, kicks and handballs and goals, that piece of play by Brad Johnson can turn the momentum of a game.
Darcy crashing his way through. Powell head over the footy. Caught. No chance to get rid of it. We'll take a bounce.
It just sends a wonderful message to all the other players. Look, we're not prepared to accept the way things are going. I'm prepared to put my body online and do the team-orientated things. Wonderful example, and hopefully the rest of the Bulldogs players jump on board and follow Brad Johnson's lead.
Got to convert. 1 goal, 3-0 this quarter. On their 50, but Jones takes it. Bulldogs with numbers back here. With courage was Bowden back into the pack. Still might end up with it, not quite. West is besieged. We'll have a bounce in midfield. St Kilda haven't added to their half-time total, but still lead by 15 points.
You're right, though, Clinton. They've got to get some reward here, the Bulldogs. They've kept it in their forward area quite well. They've pressured the ball coming out of defence. They need to get some result on the board, as West will get one high. Possession number 21 for Scotty West, and he's away to Power, who, similar, uses the ball nicely. Gilby had a very good second quarter with 7 disposals, has Darcy on a lead. Brown now comes for him. He heads in that direction, tight to the pocket. It's a good kick. It's going to be a tough one, though, for Nathan Brown from there.
Oh, it's wonderful skills. I just thought maybe it took a little bit too long to move the ball in, but it actually allowed Nathan Brown to go on one lead, then dummy back and head towards the pocket. Tight angle, but this player is capable of just about anything.
I'll be interested to see whether he tries to steer it through again, Wayne. You talked about him not kicking through the ball from the opposite side of the ground. Important kick this for the Bulldogs. Hooks it across the front. They're still in the contest. Ball at ground level. McMahon over the shoulder. Oh, he's kicked it. A beauty. In the end, a good kick by Brown. He sent it to the hot spot at the top of the square, and what they needed was a crummer, and they got it. McMahon's had a good quarter so far. Terrific finish, Wayne.
Yeah, it was a good result. Like you said, Matt, it was a good kick from Nathan Brown. You definitely wanted it to still be in play there. It could have gone through for a point if it was over the other side of the post, obviously. But this young player has given them a spark since he's come on. He's only had 3 possessions, but they've been telling possessions, and none more so than that goal there.
Getting the pats on his back from the teammates, and why not? Those disposals important this quarter from Jordan McMahon. And like the second term, the Bulldogs have kicked the opening 2 goals. But in the second term, the Saints kicked the next 5. Darcy wins it down from the middle. Gilby slipped into the footy, which was good. West, Darcy, Power. Handball makes Darcy work, has support though. Hargrave running from half back. They are full of run. Long ball to full forward. Won't get there, Brown. Kazitsky, uncontested. Ball switch. Garrett down back. Up to the wing. Good ball for Ball. Has support. Powell. Peckett. Ball's kept on running. Will peel off as Peckett will go himself to the goal square. Hamill and Bassett. And some holding. And Bassett's going to get the free.
And 50, perhaps. No.
It will come back. Bassett being told to square off.
That was good play because Aaron Hamill is not an easy person to keep out of the contest. Pushed back hard and was rewarded with the free kick.
Bassett to Murphy, the speedster away on 3 bounces. He's covered 50 metres. And obviously taxed him. His kick bounces to West. Did well to get the handball away to Bandy. Clever free kick. It's coming back. And it's going to be the Bulldogs' way. Advantage not paid. West will take it.
You talk about the value of Aaron Hamill to St Kilda, but this guy's value to the Western Bulldogs is first class. He just gives them first option. His hands are terrific, and he's certainly lifted the tempo. And Robert Harvey, interestingly, had 15 possessions at half-time. Hasn't bothered the scorers at this stage.
West to Bandy. Here's a go. Bowden. Strong hands in front of Goddard. And now, if Patrick Bowden, looking to carve out his own niche in the AFL, the brother of Joel, will kick from just a fraction beyond the 50 to try and make it 3 unanswered Bulldog goals. You mentioned Scott West Wayne, 23 possessions now, the leader on the ground. Inside 50s for the quarter, 8-2. At this point for the Bulldogs, it's netted 2 goals, 3. St Kilda's 2 entries not providing a score. Right behind the Bowden kick. And it's right out to the right. Has it got the carry to be a score? Yes. It's a behind. He's disappointed. The margin is now 8 points.
Well, that inside 50 statistic is purely and simply come about by just the pressure when the Western Bulldogs don't have possession. They're putting the St Kilda players under enormous pressure, and hence there's no surprise there's plenty of mistakes and turnovers.
Jones kicks in, wants Kazitsky long. Bandy just did it well. Bowden read it. The spoil to the man front and square, and he's given it up. Brown slipped and Goddard slipped in. Harvey, his first possession. Back to Garrick. They've made a meal of it. He's gone. McMahon on the end of it. Can it bounce for him? It is an off break, or a leg break, or any sort of break. You've got to be home.
Well, again, that pressure, the word pressure, perceived pressure sometimes can make players just look up, as Fraser Garrick wasn't too sure as to where the pressure was coming from. A little bit unlucky, but look, the Western Bulldogs have certainly lifted their tempo in the third quarter.
Yeah, been very impressed by the way they've just held it in. This time, though, Harvey's clear. Secured it to the wing. Rewald arrives late, but Powell's there first. Good, clever play by Sam Power. Released Hahn, who got it from Harrison. High ball, should suit. Got it! And the 17-year-old takes a specky. And quickly moves the ball out to Aussie Jones. He had to look up as well. Got plenty of time. Over the top to Hayes. At centre wing now. St Kilda still yet to score in this quarter. They're not going to score here. It's straight down Smith's throat, but he got underneath it. Thompson. Harrison went without it. Thompson did enough. Kept it going. Montagna inside the forward 50. Squares it up to the head of the square to Hamill. And I said St Kilda weren't going to score. They probably shouldn't have won. Here's the specky by Brendan Goddard. Welcome to AFL footy.
Well, Xavier Clark last week, and now another young player, Brendan Goddard. That's a terrific mark.
If that's not the mark of a night on the winners tonight, I'm not going in to host the show.
Can we get some more plugs about your shows? What's going on? But more importantly, Aaron Hamill, almost a goal out of nothing there, because that really was suiting the Western Bulldogs with Rowan Smith on the half-back flank. And against the run of play, he sneaks it in on the left-hand side for his second. A much-needed goal.
Well, you got it right, Matty. It was a goal against play, and you go back to where the passage of play was near the boundary line on the right half-forward flank for the Saints. And look, Ben Harrison and Rowan Smith, players with experience, you would expect that, look, when you're close to the boundary line, the last thing you want to be doing is running over the top of the ball and not bodylining the ball. The ball should have gone either out of bounds, or they should have tied it up for a stoppage. And that's a costly mistake by 2 experienced players for the Bulldogs.
So Hamill steadies the Saints. 13 points their lead. But the 4 premiership points, the vital points, well and truly in the balance still. Neither ruckman can win it again. Cross trying to force it out. Black is tied up. We'll have another bounce.
Another player for the St Kilda side that had a huge influence, Stephen Powell, has only mustered a couple of possessions in the third quarter.
The Western Bulldogs with a run of 6 consecutive free kicks. 12-6 they lead that category. Now from the scrum in the centre, Darcy to Johnson, and well, just walking onto the ground, and that's all he was doing was Barry Brooks. It lands in his lap, and he sets up Harvey, who goes without it. Under pressure does well. Back for Brooks. High ball to the top of the square. Hamill the target. Over the top, Murphy. They're filling the highlight reels now. An impressive hurdle. Hargrave hearing the jeers from the crowd after the right cross landed on the jaw of Heath Black on quarter time. Delivers to Bandy and Penny. Bandy had to tap it away. That was okay. Montagna couldn't get there. Garlick, well done. Johnson. Bandy. Can he get around Clark? Kick partially smothered. Brad Johnson. Can he knock it forward? Aussie Jones. Good pick-up. Dashes out of defence. Wants it back from Pickett. In the end provided the Shepherd. Pickett's away from the wing. Long ball. Rewalt to half forward. Not quite. Good spoil, Murphy. Boundary throw-in. 35 around from the St Kilda goal.
Terrific play, Robert Murphy. Was certainly caught out with height against Nick Rewalt, but made the decision quite early. You've got to have the conviction when you do leave your man to make an effort. That's a fantastic effort from a player that was well and truly beaten for height in that contest.
Inside the forward 50 for St Kilda. Chance here as, well, running onto it was Lawrence, but Garlick there first for the Bulldogs. Dangerous here. Clark kept it alive. Hamill bursting through. Can't get past the tackle of Bassett. Just using his brute strength.
Well, they're two different sides to the Western Bulldogs. There's a tremendous amount of pressure out there. Tackling players, working when they don't have possession, and that's your intent. That's got to be your bare minimum. If you have that, then you're a chance of putting a decent score on the board and winning a match.
Stephen Milne in the box next to Dean Wallace. Smith. Cross got it back to Johnson. A couple of players to pick from. One's Dimatina. They've been impressive when they've moved it quickly off half-back in this third quarter, the Bulldogs. Dimatina, chip over the top to Power. Did enough. He's had a good quarter.
Fancy Milne is not yapping as much this week.
There'll be no chainsaw actions in the Artful Dodger.
Like a coffee grant.
Here's Lindsay Gilbey. Plenty of possession for him, and he wants Bowden. It's a measured kick. It's a beautiful kick. We've seen that a couple of times with Lindsay Gilbey, hitting his targets.
He has probably led the way and could certainly sit down with some of his other teammates during the course of the week. Just well-weighted kick. Look, his teammate there had the back position. The kick had to be over the top of the direct St Kilda opponent like it was. And the importance of kicking to the right position and to your teammates' advantage was highlighted, none more so by that example. Terrific piece of play.
Well, he missed his earlier shot on goal from a 50-metre mark. It was a lot closer, a lot straighter. This is a tougher kick. We're on the reverse angle. Really needs to seal it, though. And he makes amends. He gets his second. Good kick, good finish to Patrick Bowden. Bulldogs get another one back. 8-10 to 10-5, back to 7 points.
And I just think over the course of the weekend we're seeing sides that when they have opportunities and they're needed to kick goals at telling moments of matches, some players are able to do it and other sides are struggling with that at the moment. We saw that with Collingwood late last night against the Swans and also the Kangaroos against Adelaide on Friday night. So a needed goal there was required and a good result by Bowden. The Western Bulldogs have certainly lifted their intensity and are playing a much better brand of football.
They're dominating the quarter, 3-5 to 1 goal. They've just entered the time on mark. They've still got 7 points to make up. Now Brooks has to wait for it. Darcy got a good run at it. Puts it out in front of Bowden. In fact, he's going to get there at first himself. No one tackles him until Powell arriving on the scene. Brad Johnson goes wide but effective. Dimatina from 60 to the pocket for Brown. Under pressure from Hudson. Boundary throwing, Bulldogs in attack.
I've been a little bit critical on Luke Darcy, but that there was a piece of fantastic play. Just made up his mind to thump the ball clear, but the impressive thing was he stayed in the contest. It was his second and third efforts. Look, they're telling signs that suggest the player is doing his utmost to get back into some sort of form.
Up against a first-year ruckman here. In the end, his teammate may have knocked it down. McMahon lively this quarter. Good ball for Gilbey. Now we know he's a straight kick to a man on the lead. Can he kick it 52 metres straight? If he can, we'll have a 1-point game.
I'll back him. I've been impressed with him. I know I've just put the Mozza on him, but gee, I think he's been terrific this afternoon. He's coming up position number 18.
Third-year player out of the Eastern Rangers in the TAC Cup, was a 43rd pick in the 99 national draft, Lindsay Gilbey. Just his second game for the year. Hasn't kicked a goal until now. The Bulldogs are marching back.
Well, Wayne, I guess we were chatting at half-time. We were thinking about where the goals are going to come from the Western Bulldogs. It's come from a run.
It has, pure and simple. And I think the thing that's important to remember is that you've got your better players in your side and you expect those players to play well. But the importance of a side to have your periphery players, your 8 to 15, 16 type of players to step up, not be world beaters, but contribute, is probably the difference between the Western Bulldogs in this third quarter and what was happening in the first half. But you're right, Matty, the run that they're generating from their half-back and the midfield is certainly starting to catch St Kilda out. 9
scoring shots to 1 in this third term. 1 behind the margin. Darcy, a new lease of life. Garlick, good smother. In the context of the game, it's a ripper by Jones, and he may end up with it here. He does. To the danger spot once again. Here's over the back, Hargrave. Decided not to use power, went to the outer side. It's a clever decision. Look at him lining up here. There's Bulldogs everywhere. Johnson falls over. Crucial fall. See, there were 3 and 4 Bulldogs that all lined up down that side. All expected to get it. And Johnson went to ground and Hamill found Hayes. The turnover comes to Powell. He's still loose. Wants to get onto his left, round the body. Back towards a man standing on his own, Kazitsky. And dare I say, footy's a funny game.
Well, fortuitously, he found himself there with no direct opponent. That was purely and simply because all the Western Bulldogs had charged off. This is a terrific smother coming up.
They were streaming forward, weren't they?
Aussie Jones, that's fantastic play. But they were, Matty. They got in front of the ball. The kick had to be spot on. It wasn't. Rebound footy at its best.
Kazitsky with his second goal. Plenty of bend on the ball, but it's their second for the quarter. And twice, against the run of play, they've had the answer.
Yes, and it's the importance of just staying involved in the contest. Sometimes things mightn't be going your way, but again, it's another example of doing the team-orientated things such as a smother by Aussie Jones. Just kept the play, well, actually went against play because they had all the momentum there, the Western Bulldogs. Terrific smother, set up that goal. But again, another example of a poor disposal. Western Bulldogs, they end up costing them dearly sometimes.
Not quite leg spin, but a bit of leg swing on that kick from Kazitsky. Just squeezing through. Couple of goals, 15 touches, and just eases the margin back to 7 points. An important few minutes coming up late in the third term. Darcy winning it down. Bulldogs don't want to concede another for all their good work this quarter. Hard ball to be won here. Hamill crashing through. Freed up Harvey to give it to Jones. Long ball. Kazitsky in front. Can make it 2 in a minute. His confidence growing. And now, just to the right of dead centre, can set this one up. Hamill's presence in there again, significant to free the ball up.
Just Hargrave felt for him there, just felt for body and what wasn't coming.
Kazitsky, number 3. Justin Kazitsky lifting St Kilda. 2-time on goals. And after Bulldogs had clawed their way back to within a point, it's now 13 points the difference.
Well, here's the centre square contest. Just the importance here. I think I got the impression that St Kilda players made their mind up. Heavy bodywork there. They weren't prepared to let the Western Bulldogs get clean possession out of the centre square. Come hell or high water, they were going to make sure it was going to be some sort of scrap. And there again, another great example of body pressure and physical pressure on the opposition can cause a turnover. And that's a great reply, and St Kilda kicked their second goal in a row.
Moyle's come under the ground to negate Lindsay Gilbey and having plenty of fun with him at the minute. Here's Darcy out of the air once again. Out in front of Bowden and Goddard. Left his man, did well. Already taken mark of the week. Lawrence goes back to Baker. Rewalt, long lead. Harrison just nudges him out, and this time Hargrave with a clever mark. The switch is on.
He's starting to get a fair bit more involved, Luke Darcy.
He made the call at half-time and he needed to. That's a poor kick, though. His direct opponent is Barry Brooks. He's having a bit of a purple patch. He's had 4 kicks for the year. He's had 4 in this quarter. Hamill round the corner. Wants Powell. Hargrave goes back with him. It's still going. Now it's a behind. And with just over a minute remaining in this third quarter, Tiffany Cherry on the boundary.
A lot of the St Kilda players getting some massage, so obviously the harder ground, but Luke Ball there, his left hamstring looks to be troubling him a little bit.
Rowan Smith awaiting some options to show themselves. A minute 19 to play. Long ball down the middle. Darcy the target. Gets rid of his opponent. Peckett the spoil. McMahon's had a good quarter. West weaves out of trouble. Has loose men on the outer side. Got to get it to them on the city side of the ground. He does to Power. He's got Dimatina in support. But then no longer options. By hand to Dimatina. He's got Bandy down the line. Bandy should take the mark here. Well, he'll have to make himself work now with Baker looming. Gets by him. Sends it long to fall forward for Brad Johnson. Good spoil from behind the Saints. Standing tall. Brown was well tackled. Moyle And the Saints dodge a bullet. Gehrig. Good ball for Brooks. Mark on half back. 14 points St Kilda's lead. Brooks to the wing for Hamill's. Going to have 2 to beat, including Darcy coming at the scene. He stood his ground. And he does well to keep it in. Hayes is gone! Holding the ball. Besieged was Lenny. Time running out. Dogs have got to go. Darcy to McMahon. And he's got it. 8 seconds. Has to kick it inside 50 and got to get a mark. Time on the wing. Croft on the lead. McMahon long ball. Can they take a mark on the siren? No! It won't be paid! It won't be paid! Mitchell Hone took it 1 second after the siren. And Stephen McBurney with the correct call.
Yeah, there wasn't much of an argue there from Mitchell Hahn. He knew that the siren went just as the ball was in flight.
1 lousy second, the Bulldogs are saying, has cost them a chance at a goal on the 3/4 time siren. Wow, what a finish coming up on Fox Footy live around Australia. 3/4 time, St Kilda by 14 points, 12-6, plays 9-10 on Fox Footy.
Today, it's desperate times for the Cats. But can anyone stop this pride of Lions?
That is a superb tackle.
See the fur fly at Skilled Stadium when the Cats take on the Brisbane Lions today on Fox Footy Extra.
There's a lot of powerful four-wheel drives around at the moment. The V8 Land Rover Discovery, it's got a lot of power. So does the Mitsubishi Pajero, the V8 Lexus, and the Toyota Land Cruiser V8. But none of them have the power of one four-wheel drive, the Nissan Patrol. Because with 185 kilowatts of power, it's more powerful than all of them. The 185 kilowatt Nissan Patrol, the most powerful patrol ever.
Still the hottest band in the world today. Cheers. Teams up with the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra. Then came the Thunder. The pay-per-view concert event of the year. Cheers Symphony. Main event Saturday, May 17, 8:30 p.m. Call your service provider and book now.
Silent, cunning, and deadly.
Your bullet has a distinct person on it.
They are experts of stealth and stalking, who can kill with a single shot from miles away, remaining virtually invisible.
The bullet went through the scope and hit the guy in the eye.
While the tools, tactics, and techniques have all evolved, a sniper's courage and instinct span time.
I am proud of being a sniper, because we made our contribution in the victory over the Nazis.
In this series, creep along undetected as those silent assassins surgically deliver swift death without warning, and learn why snipers are hunted mercilessly by the enemy.
You are waiting for your moment in time to end this person's life.
Snipers, a premier 4-part series on the History Channel.
Have you heard of MMS? It's the latest in phone technology, and Channel V are first on board with the winning combination of Snapper TV. You can win the phone, participate in photo challenges, and ultimately become Channel V's official photographer to the stars. That's Snapper, coming soon to Channel V.
Join us on Wednesday night. My old teammate David Cloak, did he give me a bashing around the head, Bobby?
And of course he's entitled. You're on the rule committee. You forget all about that business.
He's an old teammate of mine as well.
Grumpy Old Men. Wednesday, 8:30 p.m. on Fox Footy.
It's been an emotional afternoon at the Telstra Dome in Melbourne, who will be celebrating in half an hour's time. St Kilda by 14 points with a quarter to play. 12-6 plays 9-10. Justin Kazitsky with 3 goals and 2 each for Hamill, Lawrence, Harvey for the Saints. Peter Road urging his troops on. Their season in danger of slipping away, 1-4. Their current win-loss record. 2 other matches taking place today. We've got replays coming up on Fox Footy. If you don't want to know the score, time to look away.
Ride the wave that takes your places you just gone. Ride the wave and sail further from home.
We have seen plenty of highlights in this game, but none better perhaps than a contender for the mark of the year, 17 years of age, and Brendan Goddard. Just show me every angle from every camera we've got, Matty, because he was airborne.
Fantastic mark, wasn't it? And look at him, just backed himself. And we've seen that a couple of times from him, haven't we, Wayne? Not just this great mark, but his willingness to leave his opponent to get to the contest to help out. He was at the right spot at the right time.
Well, he's not a player when you look at the way he's played this afternoon. That's only played a couple of games. He's backing himself in. He's got tremendous poise and ability and awareness. I think, look, Grant Thomas has probably got to take a fair bit of that credit, because obviously he said to Brendan Goddard, go out and enjoy your football. You're good enough. That's why we drafted you. Just enjoy what you do.
And it's
take mark of the year. That's when you're at it.
That's right. Help out the club. You win the car. 14 points in Kilda's lead at three-quarter time. I tell you what, Tiffany Cherry was so close to the action down there. I thought she was actually going to be assigned the task of tagging one of the Bulldogs. Tiff, you were right in the Saints huddle. What was it like?
Well, I was pretty fired up, actually. Max Hushin was yelling at the boys, telling them that the Western Bulldogs don't want it. Thomas told them that he was disappointed they dropped off the intensity, but this last quarter is a good test to see where they're at. He told them to chase and tackle and to really, really fight for the ball, and he said if the Bulldogs get the ball in the 50, then he said to push the Bulldogs back into their forward 50 to leave a space for their forwards.
Great stuff, Tiff. Could have been charged with stalking there. Final quarter at the Telstra Dome. How would unfold? Live around Australia on Fox. The Saints by 14 points, and Darcy gets the all-important hit out. Hahn is brought down, no chance to get rid of it. Peck at the tackle will have a bounce. Wayne, any significant matchups you would change or you pick down?
I just think the intentions of Luke Darcy's, that's a great tackle there by Justin Peckett. Luke Darcy has really worked hard to get himself back into this game. Didn't have a good start, but some of the things that he's done the last 30 minutes of football have been very impressive.
Hahn over the top, then follows it up. That's not 15. Bandy, well, he might mark his own kick here. Cleverly decides to tap it down to Dimatina, and it's over for a boundary throw. And I always like to test the umpire on that one and actually take the mark and see if one of them will blow the whistle.
It has happened in the past. The player has been known to mark his own kick and fool the umpire. So I'm taking a look on. 78-64. Bulldogs will need the first one. McMahon slips it out the back. Johnson likewise. Off one step. Cross. High ball. Very tough to mark. Croft made a good effort. Here's Goddard once again. Beautiful kick. Out in front of Hamill. Bassett. Fortuitous bounce though. Inboard. Cross. West. Good chase by Harvey. Could force the turnover here. Saints will like this. Free kick, the push on Lawrence. He's got it now. Open forward line. Chip over the top. Ball running for him. He out into the space in front of Rewalt, but it's going to land short. Not sure he's 100%, but he does enough to give it off to Harvey. The left-hand handball was searching. He did enough, Thompson. That's terrific work. Back to Luke Ball. Can he straighten up? Thompson. They're keeping it going. Off one step. Not to be. Just to behind the first score for the final quarter. To Andrew Thompson. 12-7, 9-10.
Precious 4 points hanging in the balance, and Kilda looking for their third win of the year. The Bulldogs for their second as Gilby takes it in the back pocket. Has had 18 possessions. Places in fourth for the Bulldogs. Scotty West heading the way with 25. Murphy now. They were going to switch. Now they might go back. Very, very wide but effective. And here is Scott West. His sixth mark. Goes short for Power. The late call up when Crediuk failed to come up for this match. Power from half back. Long ball to midfield. Contest in front. Hahn couldn't take it. McMahon. Good second half. Bandy for Johnson. Bulldogs away. Targets Bowden. Too far out to score. Lead on from Brown. Goes to him. Nathan's caught behind. Well done, Huston. Had a good game. See, this young kid's been everywhere. Goddard finds Lawrence, defensive side of the Docklands wing. Chips it over the top for Pickett. Has runners. Just waits for Hayes to catch up. 60 out and closing. Good ball. And now Nathan Burke will kick from just inside the 50. Hasn't seen a lot of it today. Just 3 kicks for the afternoon. But this one, oh, so important here.
Good play by Justin Pickett. Knew that they had the numbers there and just waited for the Western Bulldogs player to come to him. Drew the opponent, freed off a good handball.
Looking for his first goal of the year. It's timely. The veteran. 311th game for Nathan Burke. And he kicks the goal that gives St Kilda a 21-point lead.
Well, that goal really came about by Nathan Brown up the other end of the ground, not getting in front into the front position, allowing Max Hutchton to gain the ascendancy and take a good chest mark. And as St Kilda, or both sides have done basically all day, when there's been a mistake like that or a turnover, they've been able to rebound extremely well, get plenty of numbers forward of the ball, setting up a goal to Nathan Burke.
Nathan Burke, one of 7 players playing in his 3rd decade. 80s, 90s and the noughties, as they're called. West underneath again. Just that little bit of breathing space, that 21-point margin, just what the Saints were looking for.
Just wondering, with ageing bodies, Robert Harvey and Powell, they haven't. Powell has only had 3 possessions in the second half so far, and Robert Harvey's only had 5. So tired legs as we speak, Harvey.
Oh, he's on fire. He's not tiring at all. That's his 6th possession. It's a good one out in front of Hamill. Here's Burke. The veterans again. Aussie Jones. Almost a screen there from Aaron Hamill. And the raging bull works his way into a free kick. Squares it up. Nice kick. And a man who was very dangerous in that 3rd quarter. He's got 3 goals. Kazitsky squares it again to Pickett. Just might be on Justin Pickett's. Might be a bit far out for him, Wayne.
Yeah, I think the distance will test him, but he's been good since he's come on. He's provided plenty of run from the defensive half.
Goes to the top of the square, makes Rewald his target. The spoil again from Harrison's good. I'd have to say he's on top in that duel. Dimatina back to West. Bandy. Darcy's running very hard for him. He's got to use him. He does now. Around 60 metres on the angle there, Darcy. It's pretty stagnant up forward, though. Bowden provides an option. Out in front, also there Croft. Ball still in play, and it falls nicely for Powell. Goes to switch it across to the other side.
As Hutchton decides to give it to him by hand. Max with some work to do as Croft is looming. Wheels back. Risky ball, and Clark can't take it. Hargrave is there. Powell, good follow-up. Xavier Clark. Boot to ball quickly. Rewalt. And Harrison engage in a duel. Roving is Moyle towards Hamill, charging after it. Needed a kind bounce, didn't get it. Murphy's got 10 metres of space. Loose man Darcy out wide goes to him. Darcy will mark. And now the Bulldogs can build. Haven't scored this quarter. 21 points adrift of the Saints. To Cross. The fist away, no support. Lenny Hayes. Neat little shimmy there as he goes to Kazitsky. Pickett running with him. Rebound football St Kilda. Kazitsky backing himself. Long towards Rewald. It's going over their head. The bouncing ball important. Will the Bulldogs concede behind? Harrison held illegally. Advantage play on? Yes, advantage is played. Hargrave kept on going. Oh, the ball for Hahn didn't reach him. Hahn's doing well. Good pick up there. Good kick. Enables West to run onto it, but Hayes will get there first. Using a great deal of energy there, and he has great poise to steady for Moyle. Now for Powell, the former Bulldog, to Burke. Too far out to score. Has a teammate calling for it long. It's Hamill. He's 1 out. He can't pull it down. Hargrave again. About to be mauled. Is mauled. Ball held in. Bounce.
Well, the ball's just going up and down the end of the ground like a ping pong match, Matty. There's not a great deal of pressure, which has been evident in the second half here. So, look, when you're under pressure, you've just got to make sure that you hit your targets. If there's not a lot on, take your time, be patient. There'll be something up further at ground.
Well, something open up here for St Kilda, but it's Bassett out of the contest. Gilby just did well. Knocked it over the top, but then went without it. Moyle, back to Hayes. Direct, goes to the goal square. Hamill one-on-one again. Bassett did well. Good mark. Smith, no options for him. Now the run comes from West, and Johnson peels off for him. Decides to go inboard to Bandy. Dangerous kick now. As Wayne mentioned, you've got to hit your target. Hahn. Scooped it out. Stolen beautifully by Hayes to Goddard. They line up now. Peckett. Left foot out in front of Hamill. Bassett behind him. Good mark. It's a great contest between these two in the last quarter. Hamill's up and away. Switches back into the middle. Finds the running Stephen Powell and finishes off with a behind. He can't believe it. Neither can the fans. A gimme has gone missing. Wow.
Oh, he let them off the hook.
Yeah, it certainly did. Rowan Smith to bring it back in. Cross, McMahon. Loose player on the wing. It could be very costly for Stephen Powell as Dimartina, the handball over the top, standing on his own, inside 50, Bandy to make them pay at the other end, and he does. That is the way you do it, straight down from the kick in for a goal.
Well, Stephen Powell missed the centre of an opportunity, and that's where it can be very, very costly. Western Bulldogs, terrific kick in, able to move the ball on quite quickly. Nick Rewalt had to make the decision, should he go to Dimartina or should he run with Bandy? Eventually he made the choice to go to Dimartina, and Dimartina was able to loop the handball over to Daniel Bandy. And Daniel Bandy made up for a mark that he dropped before that proved or led to that Powell shot on goal. So he certainly made up for that demands. He's dropped a couple today, but look, there's been no more important goal kick for the Western Bulldogs or Daniel Bandy than the one he's just kicked.
Tension continues to build. Live across Australia, exclusive to Fox Footy. St Kilda by 16 points. Back in the centre, Darcy for West. Caught by Harvey. Got it to Brad Johnson. Loose man on the wing. He'll be disappointed with his kick to Dimartina. The bounce, though, was kind. Dimmer's away. Long ball to full forward. Nathan Brown coming out. Held out of it by Hutchton. Well done. And it sets up Goddard. And he's got two men on half-back. And Harvey takes it. Bulldog goes down behind play, accidental only. Harvey's going to kick to centre half back for Baker. Didn't want to play on, ran into Bandy. That was okay. Baker to Hayes, to Harvey again. Harvey goes short, good kick. Kazetsky on the run from 55, unloads, hooks the kick. Bulldogs stay alive, St Kilda inaccurate. The margin, 17 points.
12 marks for Kazetsky this afternoon. He's been good, isn't he? 19 possessions. Smith gets plenty on that. That's gone 70 metres. Push, free kick. St Kilda fans very unhappy.
I think they had a fair case too.
Darcy squares it to McMahon. He's got West. Decides to go on his own. Has to be spot on here. Now turn it over. That's what it's all about. Hitting your targets. Ball. Hayes getting plenty of it. Peckett. And there it is at the other end. Hamill.
You've got to be able to hit your targets, especially when you're in space and you're expected to at this level hit a leading target. That's another costly mistake.
Aaron Hamill has 2 for the afternoon.
Captains kick these goals, don't they?
2 goals, 1. We'll kick from right on the 50, just outside. He's missed it.
You were never a captain,
no.
Clinton?
I was.
Pray tell where.
Such a good kick, Wayne. I'm up here with you. Smith to bring it back into play with the margin 3 straight kicks. Now Murphy, we are halfway through this final quarter. It's been an engrossing afternoon. And the final chapter yet to be written. McMahon, they're boosting the numbers down back, but eventually they've freed up a man. And it's been a pretty good afternoon for Lindsay Gilby. Possession number 20 coming up. He's backing himself, the kid. Towards Bandy at half forward. Good movement this. Bandy to centre half forward, makes Hahn work. Over the top, he's got it! Mitchell Hahn can make it a 2-goal game.
Well, he didn't deserve to mark that mark, but look, Daniel Bandy's kick wasn't to his advantage, but the young fella just worked. Good closing speed. Would have thought Luke Ball was obviously in the front position, but that's a tremendous mark at a critical stage of the game.
Another look at it. Good reach. Former All-Australian under-18 at Queensland level kicks the goal. And the Bulldogs are making the Saints pay for their inaccuracy at the other end. 13-10 to 11-10. Game on.
Well, I thought initially when they were playing around and just chipping the ball deep in their defence that they were certainly going the long way about it. But once they got the free man in Gilby, they found themselves into some space, spotted up Daniel Bandy. Was a good kick in there because it was to the danger zone, but that there, Mitchell Hahn, is a fantastic mark from a young player.
The finish was good enough. Now the centre bounce is crucial here. Centre clearances 11 to the Bulldogs, 8 St Kilda. Watch Darcy. Mitchell Hahn's back in there as well, but a good long chat with Scott West when the ball was coming back. You'd expect something here. Knock over the top to Johnson. He was held, free kick. The Bulldogs are charging. They're within 2 kicks. And there's plenty of time. Darcy streams into the forward line. Bowden found himself in some space in the pocket, all alone. There he is. Well, he kicked a beautiful goal in the third quarter from the same side of the ground. This one's a touch easier, but loose checking sees Patrick Bowden lining up for goal number 3, but more importantly, on the reverse angle here, to get his team to within 1 kick. It's ugly off the boot. It's a behind. Crucial miss.
Well, there's a bit of work that needs to be done at the Bulldogs training for goal kicking this week. Telling opportunity that. How big a part that'll play in the overall context of the game, we're not far away from finding out.
That's how they started last season. Inaccuracy costing them games. Goddard making Harvey backpedal, takes it on half-back. 11 points the difference. St Kilda clinging to the lead. Moyle to half forward for Rewalt. Gilby arriving. Good spoil, Gilby. Good tackle, Gilby. And Darcy will mop up. West and Hayes over the top, boundary throwing. This match has had a bit of everything, and Lindsay Gilby has lifted. He had to climb there over Rewalt. Penny getting the booze in the background as he makes his way off. West did well. Hahn beautiful. Just held onto it that fraction of a second to set up West. For Harrison towards full forward. They'll run onto this Croft. Couldn't control it. Upended Bacon. Powell does well. Gets out of trouble. Gives it off for Rewalt. And back for Powell. Good running, Saints. Now, too much on the kick. Power gets pushed. Saints fans are fuming. Harrison through the middle. Bowden again at half forward. Can he get this one? Goddard with the spoil. Near the boundary line. It's great footy. We'll have a throw in. Goddard continuing to impress. Just his 3rd AFL game. And more wonderful signs. 16 touches, 9 marks, and a 1%er there. Bulldogs still in attack. Bandy got it to Bowden for number 3. Yes! The Bulldogs surging back. Patrick Bowden. Redemption took just 90 seconds from his miss a moment ago. And we've got a 5-point game.
Well, I was a little bit critical of Daniel Bandy in that last passage of play leading up to that throw, and he ran past, he peeled off Bowden. Should have given us some sort of protection, but that's a good piece of play, grabbing it out of the ruck. And as you mentioned, Bowden making amends for that earlier miss as Matthew Croft comes off for a well-earned rest.
Wade Skipper comes on to replace him. He'll go straight to the goal square. Andy's had 6 possessions in this quarter. He's been very good. Set that goal up for Bowden for his 3rd. Bulldogs within 5 points. Whistle on the play. Bulldogs free kick. Centre square infringement, and Darcy's going to take it. The Kilda side streaming back in numbers to try and clog up the forward line. Forces Darcy to go wide to Murphy. Nathan Brown still not involved in the game. Here he comes on a long lead. Oh, over the top came Maxi. Goddard with poise. Moyle. Jones went without it, tapped it back. Moyle's gone but did well. Frees up Jones. The kick's a wobbly one. Bassett's got to beat 3. Better be careful here. Drags it in. He's going to be pinged. Is he? No. He just got it out in time. Save the day.
Well, that was fantastic play. It was outnumbered 3-1. It was a little bit lucky, I thought, there initially. Could have been pinged, as you called it, Matty, but that was fantastic play because the Saints were away if they had a one possession.
Umpire collision there with Darcy. Apologises. Should be fine then. Hargraves. Back to West. Oh, Bowden's got to beat Goddard. It's not that easy to do. Scrubbing beautifully. Timatina. Brown on the lead. Couldn't take it. What's his recovery like? Not good enough. Aussie Jones cleans up for St Kilda. That was almost a match winner. Moyle gets an unkind bounce. Murphy, keep your feet. Tackled by Moyle. Play on. Good decision. No, free kick.
That's experience for you. Knew the pressure was there. Just kept the ball in front of him rather than grab possession, Scotty West. Oh, it's Murphy.
5 points down. 5.5 minutes to go. They were 4 goals adrift at half-time. But they haven't been able to get their nose in front. They closed within a point in the third quarter. 34 players in the Bulldogs half of the ground. Murphy told he's off. Can someone pluck this out of the sky? Bandy at the back. Rewald couldn't get it. Hargrave still going. Hamill back in defence now. Harvey to Jones. Under pressure. Don't want to concede to behind. He goes out wide for Hayes. He'll kick it up towards the wing. Good ball. And a safe mark by Luke Ball. And he goes to Kazitsky. Now the Bulldogs have got to scurry back. Kazitsky can go to Burke. He will. And Nathan will mark and play on. And could he kick a goal from here? He goes along to the square. Peckett back there. McMahon the pressure. Peckett could be the hero. Justin Peckett has kicked a goal. St Kilda out by 11 points. Peckett's got his second. Will that be the one that steadies St Kilda? Well, we've had plenty here this afternoon, including the men in white, being used as a battering ram by Luke Darcy. And then Justin Peckett. Who else, Wayne? A likely forward option.
Well, a backman comes down and steals the forward's thunder, but Justin Peckett just kept the presence, maintained his feet. The Western Bulldogs player had the opportunity to lay a good tackle, but unfortunately just stuck the one arm out there. Justin Peckett able to get around that, and that's a great goal.
Give them credit, they did clog up the forward line of Western Bulldogs. They got back in numbers. Murphy was forced to kick the contest, and away they went. Darcy gets in there, over the line first, but it's Harvey, dodging, weaving, breaking free, and now has Lawrence. Over the top came Power. Important ball at ground level, goes to Gilby. Not much up forward for him. Dimatina. They're in trouble because there's no one to kick to. High ball, it's going to suit Goddard. Gets it. What a game this 17-year-old played. And the right option just chips it over to Harvey. Under 4 minutes remaining, the Bulldogs will need 2 goals if they're going to steal the 4 points. Measures it to Peckett. Hayes, good second half by Lenny Hayes, through the centre circle. A long ball out in front of Brooks. On with courage. Back there, Thompson, still alive for St Kilda, wrapped up by Harrison. Ball up inside the forward 50. Mitchell Hard had to go and he did.
Well, he deserves a pat on the back. He's got his hands on his knees now. That was absolutely fantastic courage by Mitchell Hard, without knowing what's coming, making his mind up to provide a contest. And look, every Western Bulldogs player that's down around him should get over there and pat the young fellow on the back.
Oh, that's a wonderful knock by Kazitsky. Lenny Hayes, he could probably seal it. Goal Hayes! His second, 2 in a row to the Saints. Wonderful ruck work by Justin Kazitsky.
Yeah, it was a terrific piece of play. Looked like a set play. But look, the Western Bulldogs, they're a dejected side at the moment. A lot of hands on hips, heads down. When it's tight and the game's close, in your defensive half, you've got to play close attention. You've got to be smart where you position yourself. Really, Lenny Hayes shouldn't have been allowed to run towards goal with no Western Bulldogs players in between him and the goal face. You've just got to make sure that you play on the defensive side when it's tight and close. And look, that's really unforgivable. Look, they've worked extremely hard, the Bulldogs, but small mistakes like that end up proving to be very, very costly.
Live around Australia on your home of footy, Fox Footy. St Kilda by 17 points. Time running out for the Bulldogs. Still time if they're good enough. Darcy got it down. West away. Could go all the way. 51 metres out. Scotty West unloads. Going close. Didn't get there.
He knows it too, doesn't he? He knows he had to kick that.
That's about the last roll of the dice. He's worked tremendously hard, Scotty West. That's his 33rd possession, so certainly held his head up high today.
Well, almost careless mistake there by Moyle. St Kilda have time to steady Goddard. Has been terrific. Lenny Hayes with 2.5 minutes to go. Good ball for Nathan Burke.
He's been very good in this last quarter, Burke. He's provided an option for them. Likewise, this man on the lead and taking it almost was Powell. But precious time ticking away. St Kilda have answered the Western Bulldogs challenge in this last quarter. Got to within 5 points. And the chant goes up from the fans here at the Dome. Mitchell Hahn wrapped up as Justin Peckett has a spell. Xavier Clark comes back on. It's been a big day for the X-Man. Plenty of players around the ball. Bulldogs getting the numbers back. They're going to have to break and run here. Gilby liked his game. McMahon around the corner. Bowden slips in front of Goddard. Just tapped it down. Bandy. Got to be clean here. He is. Darcy breaking through inside 50. They need a mark at skipper, but it's Gehrig. Too much experience there. Fraser Gehrig knows exactly how important that mark is in the context of just saving this game.
They can start winding the clock down. Moyle with 90 seconds remaining. To the outer wing for Baker. Nice pass. Baker will slow it down as well. St Kilda on the verge of squaring their season ledger away at 3 wins and 3 losses with their next match against last year's Wooden Spooners. That's a risky kick though. It's not over yet. Moyle's gone. Bowden is there. He's tied up. Feeds Brad Johnson. Crunch! Oh, what a tackle! And we'll have a bounce on 50. Just when you thought the Bulldogs were away, bang! Brad Johnson in a Saints sandwich.
You'd like to see the big ruckman putting his body on the line.
I think he's been terrific.
Fantastic play.
That's why Robert Walls loves them. On 50. Kazitsky, some shepherding, Bulldog free. Darcy's just got to go back and drill it. Clock continues to run. Umpire Schmidt hasn't called for time off. 40 seconds. Luke's got to go. He'll kick from 55. Time running out. Darcy long ball. Got the carry. Is it straight enough? No. Touched on the line.
Right. It's tough.
Behind. The Saints are going to hang on.
Another untidy kick in, but they have the clock on their side as Gehrig finds Hamill and the captain has the ball with a 15-point lead. Can go all the way back, decides, head up the boundary line. Murphy chips in, takes the mark. But to no avail, because as Clinton mentioned, St Kilda are 3 wins and 3 losses after 6 rounds. Grant Thomas may shake his head. Stephen Milne will be pretty happy because it's 2 wins in a row to this improving side, and we're seeing the fruit of the draft picks because they were to the fore today. Why? Kazitsky, Goddard, Rewald acquired day, perhaps not 100%. But gee, they're an exciting young team.
It's the 2nd week in a row their younger players have led the charge, and they've certainly stepped up to the mark. The thing I've noticed about St Kilda in the last couple of games, though, is their pressure. when they don't have possession, when they're chasing opposition players, there's a steely resolve, I should say, to put as much pressure on their direct opponents, hence causing turnovers. They were the deserved winners today. Well done, St Kilda.
You saw it live around Australia on Fox Footy, downstairs to Tiffany Cherry with one of the Saints young stars.
Well, Justin, that game had everything, didn't it? It had the fight, it had the goals, it had the excitement. What did you think of it?
Yeah, look, we were both very even at the start, and we knew it was going to be a hard game. We were going to have to win the contested ball, and obviously we did that, and that little scuff at quarter time just fired it up, and I think Grant bring us in real tight, real quick, and said the side that settles down first is going to win this game. So I think we settled well and kept our heads, and we come out on top.
You booted 3 goals and you had your hand in a couple, and you had a great game.
Yeah, look, a year off last year, and I find it frustrating the last 3 or 4 games to get in it. And Grant just said, look, Darcy's a quality player, and he'll be a good scout for you. And I just tried to shut him down, and things fell my way. So yeah, it was a good win.
How much does that win do for your confidence in the team?
Yeah, look, after we beat Adelaide, we didn't back up the next week, and it's good to string 2 in a row for the club, and we emphasised winning 2 in a row, so it's a massive step.
I'll go and let you enjoy the celebration. See ya.
Very important, isn't it? The fact that he mentioned that, it's something they've always struggled to do, is to get those 2 wins in a row. They normally get a win and then fall off for a little while. So obviously they've made a point to kickstart this season to get some wins in a row.
Yeah, they've only done it a couple of times in the last few years, win 2 matches in a row, and now their season 3 wins and 3 losses. They're going to have a share of either 6th or 7th place on the ladder, only percentage to determine that, and they're playing Carlton.
Yes,
coming off a loss at the Telstra Dome here next Saturday night. So you suddenly sense St Kilda, they're not in crisis mode at all, which people were talking about a fortnight ago. They acknowledge their supporters here. They were vocal. The young, the old, and the in-between.
Yeah. And the
youngster knows that we've had a win.
Robert Harvey, 28 possessions. You done enough to get a vote?
Oh, I'd have to put him in there, Matty. I did say that it was a little bit quiet during the early stanza of the last quarter, but when it was mattered most, he really stepped up, as did Stephen Powell.
And Lenny Hayes, I thought, was terrific in that second half. 27 possessions. Continues to work hard.
Following the Saints down into their rooms. Boy, they were pursued by the Bulldogs, weren't they? The Bulldogs hunted